Good morning, York. Welcome to the News Morning here on TV3. Coming up in a few minutes. Bulk oil storage and transportation says it may lose 40 million cedis of its revenue this month following the reduction of fuel margin on diesel announced by government. Also, Electricity Company of Ghana insists that the ongoing power outages and low voltage in parts of the country are due to nationwide transformer upgrade. And much later in this bulletin, local government minister criticizes previous NPP government's handling of the local government system, saying it weakened decentralization structure. I am Enyunam Haliga. Go straight to our first story, where the bulk oil storage and transportation says it may lose up to 40 million cedis of its revenue this month following the reduction of boss margin on diesel. At a visit by the Energy Committee on Monday, management appealed for a margin to be restored after the Middle East tensions are resolved. My colleague Christian Yali reports.
The committee have jurisdiction over both petroleum as well as power. So we started with BOSS because they hold our strategic energy security for us. So we decided to visit them.
The tour by the Energy Committee has become necessary following recent global shocks, especially from the fallout of the US-Israel war on Iran. The committee members took time to tour the facilities at the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited. One concern for management has been the reduction in the boss margin, which they believe could go a long way to affect their operations.
We have seriously been hit by the reduction in boss margin. Within this month, we are likely to lose close to 40 million Ghana cedis. And 40 million Ghana cedis off our books is serious business. It means that our operation will adversely be affected. So we are appealing to the powers that be. When the crisis is over, they will restore the boss margin. If we lose the boss margin completely, what it means is that we will not be able to replace the existing pipeline.
Despite these circumstances, the Deputy Managing Director for BOSS indicated that there is enough fuel reserve for the country, at least for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
We have 6 depots. All our tanks are full up. They are full up, even though we have sufficient product. We are expecting more vessels to come in. So in terms of petroleum products, within this period, up to the next 6 to 8 weeks, we are covered.
Ranking member on the Energy Committee, George Kwame Abuaje, is of the view that if for anything at all, government should consider reducing taxes on petroleum products, especially by scrapping or suspending the 1 cedi fuel levy.
Government should rather reduce its taxes, the government taxes, okay? And let me tell you, it's not only BOSS. The other OMCs also, they have reduced their margins, and it's going to affect them. Especially, I've been appealing that the 1 cedi that was added last year on the energy sector levy, the government should suspend that for the meantime.
From the BOSS Accra Plains Depot, the committee continued its tour to visit the Sunon Asogli power plant, where I am currently, to also ascertain for themselves operational issues over there, as well as some challenges, if any, that the committee would factor into their recommendations to government as part of shoring up the country's energy mix. The Energy Committee would continue its tour of other power sector agencies in the week and as well as next week. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Sunon Asogli Power Plant, Accra.
Now, away from that, Parliament's Select Committee on Environment, Science and Technology says it will consult relevant authorities to ensure refineries in the country source their raw materials locally. The committee was disappointed to know that even though crude is generated in Ghana, entities still import consignment from abroad to refine back home.
As part of its oversight responsibilities, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Environment, Science and Technology taught some refineries to assess their compliance levels to regulations and laws. For entities like this, whose operations have a direct bearing on the environment, it is prudent to mitigate such impact with deliberate regulations. The committee expressed satisfaction with the operations of Century Oil Refinery that refines 2 million metric tons of crude per annum. Chairman of the committee, Yao Frimpong Ado, indicated that there will be a deliberate plan to ensure some technological transfer from Century Oil Refinery to the Tamale Oil Refinery TOR to boost its viability.
To us as a government, to see if we can leverage on the kind of technology that these people have. There is a big difference between this, what we are seeing here today, and TOR. Not for any bad reason, because the TOR was set up so many years ago. Their equipment have become obsolete. This is state-of-the-art modern facility. So once they are close, I think it's something that Ghana as a country, we need to think very deep about it.
The committee further assured that local content participation will be prioritized at all levels of engagement.
Dealing with environmental issues require sophisticated equipment. And so we have identified some pitfalls in the capacity of EPA in terms of equipment to handle the pollution issues. And so we are going to work with EPA to see how we can source for funding to acquire sophisticated machines that can determine the pollution level.
Now, still on the energy sector, the Electricity Company of Ghana has rejected claims of overbilling in the recent prepaid charges, insisting that no customer has been overcharged. Meanwhile, ECG says the ongoing power outages and low voltage in part of the country are due to nationwide transformer upgrade aimed at improving electricity supply reliability over the next 2 years.
Less than 2 months ago, some ECG customers raised concerns over what they described as unfair billing and charges on their prepaid meters.
If you look at my shop, I don't have fan. I have my own meter. I use 2 bulbs. If I buy 60 cedis, I spend less than a week, sometimes 4 days. I don't know if it is the meter or when you buy, they find a way to take something from your money. I don't know.
This prompted the regulator, Public Utility Regulatory Commission, PURC, to issue a directive to ECG to publish a public notice and investigate the spike in what it described as anomalies. After the investigation, ECG has come out with its explanation.
On the overcharging of credits, let me say here categorically that no customer has been overcharged for the electricity they consumed. When we investigated, we realized that some of our old meters, obsolete meters that we are replacing, some of them are on a tariff, 2021 tariff. There are several that I have seen that were on 2021 tariff. When the team goes around to update that tariff, immediately that customer is going to see a 6 times jump in the rate at which the credit is consumed. They think it's ECG that is cheating them because the rate has gone up or we have overcharged them. The truth is that they have underpaid for a long time.
At a press briefing on Monday, Managing Director of ECG, Engineer Julius Pepena, also addressed recent intermittent power outages, attributing them to transformer upgrades in selected areas. He says the exercise is part of a major infrastructure overhaul valued at over 3 billion cedis to be executed in 5 phases over a period of 3 to 24 months.
We are fully aware that some communities within the ECG operational area are experiencing intermittent outages and low voltages. We have launched the government's transformer upgrade and replacement program and have completed, ahead of schedule, the upgrade and replacement of power transformers at our Adenta, Imaijong, and Lashibi primary substations. With the upgrades, the newly installed power transformers have increased capacity and can supply hundreds of homes and businesses.
The power distributor also plans to deploy drone technology to monitor transmission lines in real time and detect faults quickly. Management further dismissed claims of privatization, stating that its engagement with Enclave Power Company is purely operational. ECG, however, cautioned that areas including the Kumasi Enclave, OT and Volta regions may experience more disruption as the upgrade progresses, but maintains the exercise is necessary to ensure a more stable power supply in the long term.
Now, away from the energy sector, as local government chieftaincy and religious affairs minister has revealed that more than half of the metropolitan, municipal and district assembly in Ghana failed a nationwide assessment covering the 2024 performance year, the final year of the Akufo-Addo administration. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series, Ahmed Ibrahim claimed that out of the 261 assemblies assessed, 143 failed to meet the required mark, with only 118 achieved a pass, with the minimum pass for the evaluation was set at 36%.
The local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs minister Ahmed Ibrahim criticized the previous government management of the local governance system, describing it as ineffective and leaving behind a weakened decentralization structure.
In 2025, we were able to reset the decentralization concept of the district assemblies in 2024. And in the assessment, after the 261 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, 143 of them failed and 118 of them passed. The pass mark was 36 over 100. So it tells you, when I gave the narrative, the preamble, that the assembly concept was characterized by a dysfunctioning local governance system, these are the records.
Ahmed Ibrahim disclosed that 362 million Ghana cedis was disbursed to the assemblies in 2024 through the District Assembly's Common Fund.
4 years projected disbursement under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama government will be more than the amount in 8 years under the previous administration. Additionally, the ministry has secured parliamentary approval for 8.7 billion for 2026 fiscal year to be disbursed. And let me tell you, the actual releases, actual disbursement for the 2017 to 2024 was 17 billion. 1 year alone, President Mahama disbursed 6.3 billion.
The ministry also has supervisory responsibility over religious matters as the ongoing debate on the anti-LGBTQ issue continues to generate public anger towards the government. Concerns are mounting given it campaign promises during the elections. The minister has indicated that Parliament Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee is scheduled to meet on 23rd April to deliberate on the matter.
I know every stage and every process. It is not the executive that does that. It is a private member's bill. 23rd of this month, Constitutional and Legal Committee of Parliament are meeting on it. And last week, I was with the Speaker of Parliament in Kaswa, and the Speaker said that let no people who don't know anything about it stop talking about it. He passed it. He's still there. In the meeting that Parliament is coming, it will be passed.
Now, Ghanaians living in Spain are being encouraged to take advantage of the new immigration amnesty announced by the Spanish government. Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman made the call during a meeting with the Ghanaian community in Spain, where she assessed and assured them of government support in regularizing their stay.
The amnesty is expected to grant legal status to about 500,000 undocumented migrants who have lived in Spain for at least 5 months before December 2025. At the meeting, the Vice President addressed key concerns affecting Ghanaians abroad, including their safety and the need to ensure that all travel documents are valid and properly acquired. She described the move by the Spanish authorities as commendable and urged eligible Ghanaians to take full advantage of the opportunity.
Minister for Foreign Affairs,
if you want to qualify, you must show proof of no criminal record, both in Spain and in home country. Government has made arrangements to assist all those who want to obtain these police reports. I have spoken to leadership. It is a very important issue for government. If this amnesty directive has been issued, we should all embrace it.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has explained that individuals with criminal records will not qualify for the amnesty. He also revealed that a police officer has been assigned to assist applicants in obtaining clearance from the Ghana Police Service, which is required before the June 30th deadline.
All the applicants who qualify to benefit, you must show proof, evidence, who need criminal record here, both in Spain and your home country.
If you want to qualify, you must show proof of no criminal records both in Spain and in your home country. Government has made arrangements to assist all those who want to obtain the police report.
Easy and convenient for all those who want to obtain those police reports.
The minister further gave an update on investigations into the death of a Ghanaian student in Latvia, assuring that efforts are ongoing to ensure justice.
We are waiting for the final forensic report and the inquiry that the government of Latvia has established. Under the leadership of President Mahama and Vice President Professor Jenan Opoku-Agyeman, who undermine the dignity of any Ghanaian.
Now, away from that, a coalition of civil society organizations in Ghana have raised alarm over recent legal actions affecting the office of the Special Prosecutor. The CSOs warn that these acts could significantly undermine the country's anti-corruption efforts. In a press statement issued on April 20, 2026, the group cited moves by the Attorney General at the Supreme Court to challenge the aspect of the OSP Act alongside a High Court ruling that declared the OSP's prosecutorial powers unlawful without the Attorney General's authorization. The organization argued that these developments threaten decades of reform aimed at establishing an independent prosecutorial system free from political influence. The coalition also announced plans to support the constitutionality of the OSP law in court and urge renewed commitment to creating a fully independent public sector. Now, members of the Ghana National Association of Teachers in the Medina Adenta Abokobi area have declared an indefinite strike beginning today, Tuesday, April 21, following an attack on a member. A teacher, Abdullah Muhammad, was threatened and beaten by a former student of the same school where he teaches.
Physical attacks against teachers are on the rise. The Medina Abokobi Adenta Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT District, between March and April has recorded 2 assault cases involving teachers. 3 students from Frafraha were fined 4,000 cedis each by the Adenta Circuit Court after assaulting a teacher of the West Africa Senior Secondary School following a thug invasion of the school premises. The latest incident involves the assault of Abdullah Mohammed, a teacher at the Presbyterian Junior High School at Otano, near Ajungano. Reports indicate that on Monday, April 13, 2026, while Abdullah was invigilating final year students writing mock examinations, he spotted a former student in one of the classrooms, allegedly attempting to steal from candidates' bags. According to Abdullah, he confronted the boy and asked him to stop and leave the premises, but he refused. Eventually, the teacher succeeded in driving him away. However, shortly after, the boy returned with another individual, and together they attacked the teacher, landing a few heavy blows. The timely intervention of colleague teachers led to Abdullah's rescue. He was subsequently rushed to the East Legon police station to file an official complaint. Police are yet to arrest the suspect a week after the incident. The main suspect is reported to be a school dropout from the same institution. Teachers say they no longer feel safe within the community.
I'm not safe in the community again. I've been there for 4 years. After teaching 6 years in Western region, I've been in Bogosu for 6 years. and this is my 4th year at Bethel Presby. I've never had any encounter with any parent, community member, no. Just that I'm very firm on disciplining the children when they go wayward.
Executives of NAT in the district have since declared a strike effective Tuesday, April 21, 2026, pending the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators. Madina Adenta Nabokobi NAT chairman Christian Yao Edinkra insists the touch one touch all approach has become necessary to protect the teaching fraternity.
It is becoming so predictable that any time that the teacher suffered any form of pain, assault, we treat it with kids' glove, and it is emboldening the society to be perpetuating same. That is why we thought that we have to hold on our services and to ensure that the right things are done.
Other union members are also calling for stricter punitive measures to deter future attacks on teachers.
We are getting disappointed and fed up. Our members are on our necks. As a union, what are we doing to protect our people? And that is why, personally, I support this strike action.
President Mahama, speaking at the Ghana National Association of Teachers 54th National Quadrennial Delegates Conference in January, reiterated the need to safeguard teachers across the country.
But just for parents to come and, pay a little compensation, it will encourage others to do the same. And so, as for assaults on teachers, I am with you 100%. We will deal with it.
The strike is expected to disrupt academic work across the enclave as pressure mounts on law enforcement agencies to act swiftly. For many teachers here, the demand is simple: justice for their colleague and concrete assurances of safety in the line of duty. Until then, classrooms remain empty and a growing sense of insecurity continues to cast a shadow over the profession. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
And I'll bring you updates on that in our subsequent bulletin as that's a developing story. We will monitor and bring updates on that. That brings us to the end of News Morning here on TV3. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haliga. New Day continues.
Pleasure to be coming your way this morning. I do hope that your night was great, you're doing well, and you are poised and ready for another great day to do exploits. Welcome, welcome to all of you, especially our regular ones who watch us every morning. Ibo Samoni, good morning to you. Daddy Yo, Mami Yo, everyone watching us, Richard Mantea, Rhonda Shaw, and the family, all of you. Alaji, I know that you are watching. Megina, all of you, great morning to you all. Welcome to another exciting morning right here on TV3 Newday. A number of issues to take a look at, and the rightful one, of course, is the amount of money that has been released for the purchase of perishable food supply by the GES, of course, to all the stakeholders. A lot of delays, of course, were experienced before the amount of money, which is approximately somewhere around 200 million Ghana cedis, finally has been released. We'll be talking about it this morning. And if you're also experiencing doomsaw in your area, or let me just say the lights going off intermittently, well, President Mahama says it is not doomsaw. It is all maintenance works to give you better service from the ECG. And if you're also experiencing overbilling, as some of you are calling it, well, ECG is saying that you just may have been paying lower rates in the past. So now the right rates are being applied. We'll talk about all of that. But welcome one more time this morning. Well, regarding the issues about GES, about food supply, school feeding program, and all of that, a communique has been released yesterday, came in very late in the evening, and we are just about to read it to you this morning. It's from the Ghana Education Service, and it says, release of funds for procurement of perishable food items. We'll be taking a look at that communique in no time. But let me just let you in on what we have this morning on the big issue. Of course, we're talking about the free SHS feeding program in chaos, and that's the communique I'll be reading in no time. And secondly, we'll be also talking about the fight against Galamsey. 6 Chinese individuals nipped by NIMOS, and it's a headache for most of us in this country. What are we really going to do about these Chinese men and women involved in Galamsey? Because it looks like over the months, over the years, they are nipped, they are caught, and then by the time you know it, another squad have emerged again involving in Galamsey. Where do they come from? Why do they find the need to always be coming back even after their arrest? Where are they hiding? Who supports what they are doing? Because this may not be the last time that we've arrested Chinese who are involved in Galamsey. Probably others will come after. What are we doing to nip this in the bud? We're talking about all of these this morning, but let's go and take a look at that communique by the GES. We'll read it afterwards. We'll activate the phone line so you talk to us and express your opinion about this very crisis the GES and the school feeding program has been experiencing. So there you have it, Ghana Education Service writing and saying that management of the Ghana Education Service wishes to inform the general public, particularly stakeholders in the education sector, that the outstanding funds for the procurement of perishable food items for senior high technical schools across the country have been released to the service. Management has initiated processes to ensure the efficient distribution of these funds to the various schools. And number 3, it says monitoring and accountability mechanisms have been put in place to ensure that the funds are utilized judiciously and solely for their intended purpose. Management of the service assures all stakeholders of its unwavering dedication to the welfare of students and the continuous improvement of educational outcomes across the country. And that's the communique that came from the GES yesterday. And we followed that story on Friday, discussions between the Minister of Education and, of course, the GES gets fund and all of that, which resulted in a stalemate on Friday. They couldn't quite come to an agreement. And then yesterday, this communique also came in regarding the school feeding program. So this morning we'll be speaking to one of the personnel from the GES to ask why payments have delayed so much. It's not the first time that we are experiencing this. It's not the very first time. We go through this all the time. And the release I read to you was actually signed by Daniel Fenyi, Head of Public Relations. He's the one we're going to be speaking to on the telephone lines in no time. We want to ask a few questions, which you are also yearning to receive answers for. Let's take the montage. You're welcome to This Morning. Welcome back to TV3 Newday. And just so you're reminded of what we are talking about, we are talking about the release of funds for the procurement of perishable food items, which was released yesterday, close to about 200 million Ghana cedis, regarding all the school feeding brouhaha and the chaos that we have been experiencing as a country. Now, that release was signed by Daniel Fenyi, Head of Public Relations, GES, and he is on the telephone lines with us this morning. Good morning, Daniel. If you can hear me, good morning. Hello, Daniel. Okay, we're still trying to raise Daniel on the telephone lines, but in the meantime, you can also call us and let us know what your experiences are. Many of you have wards, of course, who are in school, who are supposed to be fed well by governments. But what have we seen over the years and over the past few months? We all know the story in the country. Daniel, I'm told, is finally on the telephone lines. Good morning, Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Good morning.
Yes, hello, good morning. I can hear you.
Yes. I can also hear you. Can you hear me audibly?
Yes,
All right.
I can.
Daniel, you're welcome to TV3 Newday. I've been following. You've been doing a lot of talking in the last few hours, and you are here again this morning. Tell us, what's been the main challenge? Why have we experienced this amount of delay before now this money has been released?
Indeed, let me thank you so much for the opportunity, and let me say a very good morning to our listeners and then our viewers as well. In fact, let me indicate that the concern that has arisen over the period has been with perishable food items. So it is not as though we have feeding crisis in our schools. As Ghana Education Service, we have come to admit and appreciate the importance of nutritious meals for our learners. And I emphasize perishable food items because the Director General himself of the Ghana Education Service, and of course, at every point in time, I personally accompany him to monitor the feeding situation in our schools. The last monitoring that we did was in Ashanti region, and that was just about 3 weeks ago. And we wanted to obtain for ourselves first-hand information on the hygienic conditions under which these foods are prepared, and then the amount, the size of food given to our students. And from our engagement, in fact, we visited various schools, including the school of the church president. And all these visits are unannounced visits because we want to obtain real-time natural information. And our information was that the non-perishable food items, which is normally supplied by buffer stock. It's in abundance in our schools. The schools had sufficient food items for the learners. They had huge stocks for them. What has been the concern is the perishable ones. For that, buffer stock will not be able to supply because of their nature. So, for example, tomatoes, pepper, onions, and the others. And because of their nature, the framework or the model has been that money will be supplied to the various, or money will be disbursed to the leadership of the various schools. So they go to their nearby market to purchase the items for themselves. This is where there has been some discussions and some dialogue on what framework, what model would ensure more efficiency and a more improved disbursement system. If you ask of a seeming delay, it is because there have been in the past issues around audit infractions, issues around transparency, issues around accountability of the monies disbursed. And so the system wanted to make sure that if we have disbursed this amount of money, then it is going directly into the intended purpose for which these monies have been disbursed, and that every peso, every penny can be accounted for, so that we don't come back some months or years later and discuss issues of stealing, diversion of monies, misappropriation of monies, and all that. So it is this framework or this model that has been on the table for some time. I should indicate that just last Friday there was a closed-door meeting between the ministry, Get Fund, Buffer Stock, CHAS, and all important stakeholders to continue with the engagement on how transparent, how efficient these monies can be disbursed to our schools and how they can be used to procure the food items. So it has always been about improvement of the system. It has always been about a more transparent system. Don't forget that in the previous GES administration or ministry administration, we didn't have a more sustainable funding of the free SHS program. So it is this administration that thought it wise. That's why don't we give it to Get Fund? Since Get Fund has been in the business of education over the period, why don't we have Get Fund fund the free SHS program? So it is this model that current conversations and discussions are being held on how. So now we know Get Fund is the body or the agency funding the free SHS program. Now let's move from the funder to the model. On what model would be more efficient, what model would be more appropriate, and that has been the discussion over the period. Yes.
Daniel, the statement says that outstanding funds have been released. How much exactly are we talking about, and does it clear all the arrears as of now?
Yes, indeed. So we are looking at close to 200 million Ghana cedis have been released to the Ghana Education Service. In fact, as we speak now, this amount sits with the Ghana Education Service. So, and when I say Ghana Education Service, I mean the institution Ghana Education Service, including our various senior high schools, regional district directors, so the body Ghana Education Service. By close of business today, our senior high schools or various institutions should have their account credited because the money is with the Ghana Education Service now. So now we call it home match. The money is home now. It is just left with the specificities on given to the various schools based on the data of students they have, which they have fed us with. So the disbursement should go by close of business today. And the outstanding arrears covers October last year. That was the beginning of the academic year up until February of this year. So we are looking at over 90% of the arrears being cleared. And as I mentioned, a more consultative engagement are still ongoing to ensure a more transparent model or framework with which going forward these disbursements and distributions are made.
Daniel, are we using a particular criteria for disbursement? Are we taking a look at the schools which are most affected for the distribution of these monies? Is there a particular module that the distribution would follow?
In fact, the distribution is going to all senior high schools across the country, including TVET institutions.
Okay.
And so we are not separating schools according to categories or most affected or not. The schools, we have the data of the various schools, the number of students they have, and the amount each school would need. So the thinking is that all the various senior high schools, close to the 1,000 senior high schools we have in the country, would have their monies credited. Of course, there might be a bit of variations in the day each of them will see the amount, and that will depend on the banks that they use. But by close of business today, Ghana Education Service would have done all disbursements to the various senior high schools.
Daniel, will these disbursements be made public for everyone to see, or that's not the custom?
That has not been the custom. In fact, the ritual is that when Ghana Education Service, we receive the money, we make the public, we make our stakeholders aware that these monies are now with the Ghana Education Service. I continue to repeat Ghana Education Service because once it comes to us, then it becomes a matter of how much. In fact, when the going gets even tough, Director General can carry fiscal cash to the various schools and distribute to them because now the money is settled with the institution, Ghana Education Service. And so, at the moment, what updates we give our stakeholders is that the money has arrived home, government has released the money to us, and so our duty as the implementation agency of the ministry is to ensure that all the various schools are appropriately covered. Let me also indicate that the earlier stories and news that we heard that if care is not taken, schools might even close down, health teachers will shut down the schools because they don't have money. All these stories will not hold because their concerns, as a listening administration, their concerns have been appropriately addressed. And we hope that going forward, we will even have a more efficient structure and system for the disbursement of these funds.
Daniel, just before you go, let's talk about misapplication of these funds. What are you doing to ensure that the funds are applied properly? And just in case they are misapplied, what are the sanctions and how soon will those sanctions take effect?
Indeed, the right use and accountability for these monies are very, very important to us. In fact, that is part of the reasons you might have seen some bit of a delay because we were very keen on making sure that we have recorded these monies that are going out and every peso is accounted for. And we have also come to appreciate the need to protect public funds because don't forget these monies are not individual or private money. These are taxes generally. So these monies belong to Ghanaians. And so if we are going to spend it, then we are to account appropriately for it. So the first level of ensuring the right thing is done is that we have strengthened our audit and finance teams and structures. And so we are making sure that audit is very much exacted on these figures that are going out. So you can trust that no head teacher or no staff of the service would take advantage of any weakness in the system to divert any fund. Again, the Director General and his team continue to physically engage teachers, monitor these activities, in fact, go to the various schools and these visits are unannounced so that you wouldn't have somebody covering their books, erasing some numbers, erasing some dates. We storm these schools, of course, not to quote unquote catch them per se, but to obtain for ourselves real-time information on how these monies are used. So there's a strong strong audit and monitoring teams, offering support to the leadership of the schools, and also monitoring exactly what they are doing and making sure that these monies do not or are not diverted for purposes that are not intended for these monies.
Daniel, I can imagine that as a body, this has been a hard time for you. But as Ghana Education Service, what lessons have you drawn from these delays and the challenges, number one, and what are you doing to make sure that it doesn't happen again in the near future?
In fact, we learn every day. Don't forget, we are an education institution, so we learn every day. So the first level is that dialogue is extremely important. Conversation is extremely important. In all situations, the first leg is to make sure you call the affected persons, you call the affected bodies, you listen to them, you don't victimize them when they voice out, you don't punish them when they voice out, but rather sit with them around the table and have a jojo, have a conversation. And that's what we did. But I think it is also a lesson we have picked that even going forward, we may have to strengthen our consultative potential and tendencies, and that once or immediately we hear of any concern from any of our stakeholders, be it CHAT, with the Conference of Heads of the senior high schools, or the ministry, or buffer stock, or debt fund, we have to sit around the table and have a very strong conversation and come to an amicable place where everybody gets satisfied. So that's the first level of the lesson we have drawn. The second one is to strengthen the monitoring system. If you are not careful, you will sit at the headquarters, you sit in Accra and just push money down the system. But if you don't monitor, if you don't audit, if you don't follow it up to see if these monies are used very well, you may end up having the schools or the students fed with substandard food. When you think you have released every amount or every figure needed to feed them well. And so we have to strengthen our monitoring and then our audit systems, which we have done. In fact, just about a week ago, our finance and audit team were taking through a very rigorous workshop that is to help them with the job that they do. And of course, as I am also doing, I believe that consistent updates for the public is important. And so when situations like this come, as the head of the public relations, we need to come out to the public, educate, engage, give information, of course, receive information as well, and make sure that at every point in time, no misinformation or disinformation goes out. And I think generally these are the lessons that have been taken. Let me use your platform to indicate. We have not mentioned this anywhere, but let me indicate, because it will come up later in the day, that the fees for practicals, WASI practicals, has also been released. About 30 million Ghana cedis have been released to ensure that the students who are up for WASI, in fact, I think the practicals have even started, and so our students would have a very peaceful WASI exam. Let me also add that just yesterday, the arrears, when we came in, as a new administration of the Ghana Education Service, when we came in, one of the first challenges we came to meet were teachers who were recruited but were not paid. And at the time we came in, they had spent about 6 months in the classroom without salaries. And we needed to make sure their salaries have been paid. Of course, we did the necessary documentations, we did the necessary validations, we took them through all the necessary documentation processes, and we're up for the payment of their arrears. Some of them have taught for about 8 months, some of them 6, some of them 1 year, some of them even more than 1 year. And yesterday, their monies were released to them, and payment structure or schedule has been put out, and that by the month of May, they should be expecting 4 months of arrears being paid, and then June 4 months, again in July, in that order. So all their arrears are completely cleared. And so the teachers Our dear teachers, if you monitored, they used to picket, they used to embark on demonstrations, and these are very rightful demonstrations, right? And as a listener administration, we carry their consent and we make sure that these clearances have been given to us. And so our teachers are arrested, about 2,000 of them, I think, have been cleared, and then now the feeding and the procurement of perishable food items have also been cleared, and then the WASI practicals has also been cleared. Yes.
Daniel, thank you so much for your time and the latest information. You've also given us 30 million for the practicals that have been released as well. Thank you for your time. Daniel Fenyi is the head of Public Relations, Ghana Education Service. Thank you so much for your time. We'll get to the telephone lines now and pick some of your calls. And I'm told Peter T is already on the line. Peter, we do apologize for keeping you for so long. We had to listen to Daniel, but welcome to TV3 Newday.
Thank you. Okay. So
yes, Peter T.
We let you go. Cookie T, I hope you are doing well.
By the grace of God.
Yeah. Let me seize this opportunity to say good morning to Alaji Okundo, the liaison officer, National Security Operation. And then I call him Alaji Madi, National Democratic Congress, the director for election. And then Mr. Emmanuel Ashali Tete, Data Regional Liaison Officer, National Security. Cookie T.
Peter T.
I always have one thing that you see, enforcement of any law, be legal or illegal, is a sole responsibility of government. So if you are having a failure in any of these sectors today, we need to blame it on the authorities, as a government. Every person that has been assigned to play a particular role in a society or in our association, I think that must do it and do it well. And we have to begin to justify our inclusion and reaffirm our support to indicate that, Cookie T, we are truly law-abiding citizens. Because we saw in the past the record that we had when it comes to this school feeding program, when we had a government that was, lackadaisically, adopting some kind of approach to this system, and it collapsed the system entirely. And are we going to continue like this? We talk about I listen to this thing that you interview right now, that we talk about monitoring. Is it only about monitoring on disbursement about this money, or we also have to ensure that there are qualities of food that are provided to these children? Because you see, these money are disbursed, and you see that individuals take the money into their pocket, into their homes, and do their own thing, without caring that these students are the vulnerable ones that are the main beneficiaries of this money. These are the places that I think government must still be looking at. Because it is sad. Sometimes when you see the food that are given to these school children, it is so sad. Because most of them eat this food, and by the course of the day, they end up contracting many diseases.
All right, Peter T.
Please, let us adopt some kind of policies, a policies that will allow activities that are truly conformity with our culture and values. That
all right, Peter T.
Our traditional values.
Peter, thank you very much for your time. Please remember to keep it short so other people can also call in. You can also send us your messages. I will read as many as I can. And this one from Simeon Yang says, thank God that today CHAS can freely and openly air its challenges regarding the SHS feeding program. Yesterday, the narrative was different, but thank God that we have a listening and accommodating government in place. We are grateful for the swift intervention by government. Simon Yang from WA sent in that one. Megina, I'm told you are our next caller. Good morning.
Beautiful one. How are you?
Very well, by the grace of God. How are you doing?
By the grace, I'm also kicking.
All right, let's hear you.
What about the your colleagues?
They are all here on standby. Naya is here. Roland is elsewhere working on other things, but we are here, yeah.
Thank God. And also extend my greeting to the production team. I really appreciate their efforts.
Will do.
I cannot come through without them. Kubiti, let me take this opportunity to compliment the gentleman you interviewed. He was able to explain things to the understanding of everyone, especially me. And I appreciate all what the Ghana Education Service is doing. And I want to urge Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education, Honorable Harold Edusu, to make sure the policy the government brought, Feed Ghana, there is a component in it that says the institutions like education to prioritize that initiative, whereby they use the education to also plant some of the perishable products that can be used to feed the student. So when it comes like that, this will cut down the burden of spending on the government. And I think we have to incorporate that policy into education, Ghana Education Service, prison service, when we are able to do that. And I think that we will also support them with any input that will enable cultivate this vegetable goods that the Ghana Education Service, some of the funds that they will use to procure these vegetable goods, it will cultivate, they will be able to use it to augment perishable ones that they can go to the market and procure. So, Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, for their active and strict release.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Majina. Master Planner Junior from Kintampo says it's refreshing to hear that monies have been released to solve the school feeding issue at our SHS level. I'm so excited, especially for the final year students who are preparing to take their exams. So kudos to government. And I'm told another caller is on the line. Welcome to TV3 Newday, Philip.
Yeah, thank you.
Where are you calling from, Philip?
I'm calling from Tongo in the Upper East region.
All right, let's hear you.
Before I go on to the topic, let me say good morning to our Chairman General, General Mosquito. I think he's doing very well when it comes to organizing the party and then making sure government officials are working for Ghanaians and country. And let me also say hi to Majority Leader, Honorable Ayarga Mahama.
Okay.
I think I have to thank the government led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for responding to the GES concerning the school feeding, that is the perishable goods in our secondary schools. Yes, this is the government I think we are proud of, and then we will continue to be proud of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government, because it's very clear that anytime there's an issue, this government doesn't waste time in responding. And so I would urge the Education Minister, that's Aaron Idrike, to make sure we don't even hear something like, oh, there's shortage of food in our senior secondary schools or issues like that. Because, you see, these are our future leaders. And so we need to make sure we provide them what they need. I will also use this opportunity to urge the government. The Feed Ghana program that he's bringing, I think he's delaying. We are in March now, April. Very soon the northern part of the country will start planting. And as we speak now, we have not seen any
sign of this Feed Ghana taking off. I'm saying this because when this Feed Ghana takes off, I know this issue of shortage of food in our senior secondary schools will be a thing of the past. I learned the Feed Ghana, one of the components of the Feed Ghana project is the 10 tractors per every district. And so I'm urging the Agric Minister, especially the tractor aspect, to look for good tractors. You see, once you go and bring tractors that are not strong, they will spoil within no time.
All right, Philip, thank you very much for your time this morning. And to all of you who were able to call us, thank you very much. And apologies to those of you who also tried but could not get through. We'll be taking a break to make way for the big issue. And just to remind you that you need to pack up your day the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of a Peck Milk Shortcake. It is pure delight, available everywhere in the country. Get some for you, yourself, your loved ones, and your family as well. It's still TV3 Newday. We'll take a break now. When we come back now, we'll be handling the big issue.
Mommy.
Yes, my dear.
I miss you already.
Just a little taste of home so you don't forget our meal time.
How can I? Yidishito. It's so tasty, just like a 3D.
GES, the school feeding program, and the, if you like, resolution of the problems that the GES and the schools have raised by the government. Yesterday, we saw a press statement which tells us that money has been released and disbursed to the Ghana Education Service for further disbursement to the respective senior high schools in order to purchase food items, food stuff, to cater for the school feeding program. Now, this follows an earlier meeting which happened last week between the GES, CHAS, and the Ministry of Education, which sort of ended in a stalemate. We were unsure how the issue was going to be resolved. In fact, after the meeting ended, there were questions about whether or not senior high schools will close down because of lack of the resources to buy the foodstuff needed to feed our young learners. We'll get into that. If you are a parent and you know about this matter, your ward has told you, you can connect with us and let us know exactly what they have told you and how it's impacted them so far. If you're a teacher, if you work in any of the senior high schools, you can also let us know. And I'm sure the news about the disbursement of the funds comes as good news to all of you. Well, let us know your thoughts on it. I read as many of your messages as possible. Also, still on Galamsey conversations, Galamsey doesn't seem to go away. NIMOS, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, has arrested 6 Chinese nationals who are said to have been engaged in illegal mining at Nyase River. It's a tributary along the Tano River. Now, they have been arrested. The question is, why does this keep coming up, especially with these Chinese nationals? Is the punishment not deterrent enough? Why are they so emboldened to keep coming back even after so many arrests? We'll get into it. Connect with us with the hashtag Big Issues, hashtag TV3 Newday, and I'll read your messages as we go. Already here and seated, my guests are here. Dr. Sami Aye is a presidential aide. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
By God's grace, I'm good. What about you?
By the grace of God. Yeah. All is well. All is well. I hope you are not an Arsenal fan.
No.
Okay, so you are in good and high spirits?
Of course, yes.
All right. Also in studio this morning is Kwesi Kwarteng, he's a former spokesperson, Ministry of Education. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you too?
By the grace of God. All is well. I think this is the first time I'm having you on Big Issues.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great to have you. Now, before we get into the conversation, let's take a look at a press statement that came out yesterday from the Ghana Education Service regarding the disbursement of funds. All right, so this is a press statement on the letterhead of the Ghana Education Service, and it is titled Release of Funds for Procurement of Perishable Food Items. 1. Management of the Ghana Education Service wishes to inform the general public, particularly stakeholders in the Ghana education sector, that the outstanding funds for the procurement of perishable food items for senior, high, and technical schools across the country have been released. 2. Management has initiated processes to ensure the efficient distribution of these funds to various schools. 3. Monitoring and accountability mechanisms have been put in place to ensure that funds are utilized judiciously and solely for their intended purpose. 4. Management of the service assures all stakeholders of its unwavering dedication to the welfare of students and the continuous improvement of education outcomes across the country. And this is signed by Daniel Fengi. He's the head of public relations of the GES. And we spoke to him earlier today on this morning segment, and he basically confirmed that this money has been disbursed, this money for the purchase of perishable food items, which was key on the list of complaints that the senior high schools had. About 200 million Ghana cedis was disbursed yesterday after that meeting on Friday. Doc,
yes.
This comes as good news that the money has been disbursed.
Yes,
but
definitely.
What took us so long to get here?
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our viewers. Good morning to you once more, and my friend, Kwesi Kwatim. Before I get there, you know, yesterday there was a very significant event at the Jubilee House during the Government Accountability Series. The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs briefed the state. And he made very, very interesting revelation. He says that in 2025 alone, government disbursed 5 billion Ghana cedis through two metropolitan municipal and district assemblies. That is a sharp increase from the 362 million that was disbursed through the district assembly common fund in 2024. That is a 1,500 increment. In the first quarter, we disbursed about 790 million. The second quarter, we disbursed 1.5 billion. Third quarter, we disbursed 1.2 billion. And the final quarter, we disbursed about 1.5 billion. When you add it, it's 5 billion Ghana cedis. Because of that, he told us that we have about 494 chip compounds projects at different stages of
494.
494. A chip compounds project at different stages of completion. But some of them have been completed. And I can mention it to you. When you go to Abra Sebu Kwamankese, there are 3 communities, Ohiaba, Nyamedom, and Abaka. 3 chip compounds have actually been completed and commissioned by the Honorable Felix Kwacho Fosu and his DCE in that district assembly. There are about 761 classroom block projects that are also at different stages of completion. There are about 4,092 borehole projects also ongoing, and over 2,700 legacy projects. We have also awarded 261 24-hour economy market. I mean, it has been given to contract. It has been given out for contracts, and it is also currently under, construction.
Are we still completing the Agenda 111 projects?
Definitely, Agenda 111 is under. It's under the supervision of the Health Ministry, but they are all part of the legacy project that government thinks that significant portions of the District Assembly Common Fund should be, allocated to it to ensure it's complete. So if anybody tells you that government is not spending, it is a huge joke. It is a figment of their own imagination. Government is spending in significant sectors of the Ghanaian economy, and that President Mahama recognizes the role of district assemblies and local governments in the reset agenda. So it is an important information that all of us need to know to reassure the people of Ghana of our commitment to ensuring that development trickles down to the very fundamental.
Not to veer off our topic, but you mentioned the 24-hour markets, which are yet to be built.
So contract has been given out for 261 of them.
So tell me exactly how these 24-hour markets operate. Are they marketplaces for trading?
Yes, definitely for trading, and basically for trading for 24 hours. We think that in line with President Mahama's agenda of the 24 hours economy, we think that we need to, as a matter of fact.
And this is to be run by the government or the private sector, or how are we running these 24 hours?
It is being built by government, so definitely there will be allocations to various traders within our communities who have something to sell. And
why aren't we working towards running the current markets that we already have 24 hours?
There are still market projects that have been built. Recall that in the first time, President Mahama, a number of them were built. When you look at the KJTR market, Tafo market, a number of them.
Yes, so I'm asking, why aren't we working towards, for example, running the KJTR markets 24 hours?
No, I don't get a question.
We are building 24-hour markets to run for 24 hours.
Yes.
My question is, we already have markets which exist. Are we working towards running those markets 24 hours?
But the KJTR market is there every time of the day.
Of course, it's there every time of the day. But the question is, does it run 24 hours? They close and they go home. Or they don't? They do?
They do. But there are other activities that run throughout the day.
So,
when you go to the
so that is how these 24-hour markets you are building are going to run.
Yes, definitely.
Not that our traders would be there for 24 hours. I mean, they will close, other people will come back. Is that the plan?
That is the whole idea.
So why are we not doing that for the current markets, the KJTM market and others that you mentioned?
The KJTM market, they were not done under they were not done under the 24 hours economy. That is not to say that they will not be encouraged or measures will not be put in place for them to also run under the 24 hours. In fact, when you look at the
let's come back to our
market,
topic.
when you look at the Crow market, you know, it was originally, when they were building it, it was not originally under 24 hours. But because of what we are doing, government has actually earmarked funds under the 24-hour market to complete that market to run under the project. You understand? So it is a significant information. So I'm happy that we have been able to release funds for the secondary schools under the free SHS program. This is a one-off situation. You recall that since this government came, over several months, the implementation of free SHS has been done smoothly. It speaks to President Mohammed's commitment. Like I said, it's a one-off situation. However, government has taken it with all seriousness, and I'm happy that significant amount of monies have been released to, work or to solve the difficulties that were faced in few days.
Why has it taken us so long to be able to disburse the funds?
Ghana is a developing country. We have little challenges. Once in a while, we have some of these challenges happening. But you have seen the commitment government has demonstrated towards the implementation of free SHS budgetary allocation that has been made significantly. In 2025, over 3.5 billion Ghana cedis was budgeted for this year, 4.2 billion Ghana cedis. You recall that when we came, there were significant arrears in various projects under the Education Ministry. When you look at capitation grants, for several terms, there were arrears. Government has completed payment of that. We also inherited legacy debts as far as debts owed to WAEC. Government has been able to solve that. So gradually, we are bridging the gap of financial difficulties that many of these projects under various ministries face. And so it is a one-off situation, like I said.
Are we facing any fiscal constraints?
Definitely as a country, as a developing country. But when President Mama came, he actually uncapped the GET fund. And we made sure that significant allocations was made to the education sector. So I think that going forward, we'll have a smooth implementation of all the programs, especially under the education ministry. And I want to commend Charles, various stakeholders in the education sector, that they took this matter on and expressed all seriousness with regards to that. Government has also demonstrated enough seriousness to it, and in a matter of a few days, the matter has been resolved. I commend the education minister, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Ghana Education Service, Charles, and the finance minister for his commitment to this, but especially, and also not to forget the GET fund, the role GET fund has also played in making sure that necessary disbursements are done to avert the matter. I understand the issue was with perishables.
Yeah.
That, normally monies have to be given out for the purchase of them. I know that the non-perishables are in abundance. Buffer food stock, they have more than enough stock. The schools themselves have a lot of non-perishables.
Yes.
The issue was with perishables, and I'm happy that...
And for them to have come to a point where they were threatening to shut down the schools, it means that they were in a very hard place.
Yes.
Because the heads of schools said they were going to shut down the schools.
Yes,
this was as recently as last Friday.
Yes.
And the meeting ended without a solution to the problem.
Who said the meeting ended without a solution?
That's what was reported. We were not in the meeting, but that's what was reported. What was the solution to the problem?
The solution is
at the end of the meeting.
The solution is that today the monies have been paid.
Oh yes, but that was not on Friday. I'm talking about Friday.
Yes, I'm saying that
the meeting ended on Friday.
They were reports, but from where I sit, I don't think that.
Well, maybe you had inside information.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, but the rest of us in the country did not have that information. Yesterday, we heard, though, that the money had been disbursed, which is good news, and I'm hoping that the heads of schools would not have to take that drastic step of sending children home. And the money will be able to be disbursed as soon as possible for the schools to be able to continue to operate.
We are never going to envisage a situation where students will have to go home because it will not happen.
Well, the money arrived late, and that is why we have had to envision that situation. Kwesi Party, now you've had good experience in this sector and how things are supposed to run. What do you make of all of this?
Yeah, I think by the grace of God, I've had quite a fair experience because of my working relationship with the ministry as a spokesperson for the minister then, and of course the spokesperson for the ministry. I'll take it from the statement that you projected, which is attributed to the Ghana Education Service. Of course, I mean, I've had to sit in that position before, write statements for the public. I mean, sometimes manage public expectations and other things. From what I see, I want to say that the statement that I read does not appear to be honest enough. I understand the problem, and of course, we are going to have a discussion on it. Why do I say it's not honest enough? You see, the statement projects and creates an impression as though as soon as monies have been released, all of a sudden, the problem is going to be solved. But first of all, you have to understand how much you owed in arrears and how much you've been able to release. That is where, when you do the mathematics, you're just supposed to see that, well, even if I've released a amount, it is going to solve the problem. Because, for instance, if you owe, say, 400 million in arrears of your suppliers and you release 200 million, you may not necessarily be solving the problem, but you may be just solving part of the problem. So he said, monies has been dispersed to address the blah, 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 blah. I mean, it may appear as though the problem has been solved. But for me, I feel that it lacks clarity, it lacks details. And if the ministry at least wanted to be honest about it, they could have at least referenced to us and given us an idea of how much is being owed in arrears and how much they've been able to release. Why am I introducing this leg of the argument? While I was coming here, I made a quick calls to some headmasters, of course, who we all resolved and agreed that we are going to keep the identity anonymous. And the impression that I had was that from October up till this month, what has been happening is that headmasters takes some of these perishable food items in credit from their suppliers, and subsequently government goes and pay. So, for instance, if headmasters owes A's amount and you pay less that amount, obviously headmasters are still going to struggle. But the thrust of the conversation, I want to make a reference to the NDC's own manifesto, why we are even here. If we read their manifesto, especially the abridged format, which I have here, it said transforming education. The paragraph 6 talks about decentralize the procurement of food for senior high schools to boost local economies. Decentralize the procurement of food for senior high schools to boost local economies. You see, before we even have a detailed discussion into this, we must understand how the food supply chain works under the Ministry of Education and its agencies relative to the senior high schools. We have what you call the perishable food items and the non-perishable food items. So the non-perishable food items are usually the grains, the rice, gari, beans, cereals, sugar, and what have you. And the perishable food items, if you speak to the headmasters, they will tell you even firewood is perishable because quickly you may need, at every point you need firewood. For instance, pepper, tomatoes, and frozen food that you can imagine of. When we were there, the arrangement was that if you look at the mathematics of the monies that we disperse, at every point 70% goes into the non-perishable and the 30% goes into perishable. So at every point we used to pay the 30% of the perishable to the schools. That arrangement had not changed. But recall, prior to the election,
we were paying directly to the schools.
Yeah, we were paying directly to the schools. Yes, the 30%, which is for the perishables.
Okay.
And the remaining 70%, that one was buffer stock, and I subsequently even GCS also came on board to also distribute the foods. But the impression that we had prior to the election was that it was a very poor arrangement and headmasters were being shortchanged And for that matter, when they come, they are going to decentralize the distribution of the food.
Was the
items.
problem not that we were sourcing all of our food stuff from specific places? So you will be in Kumasi and be sourcing, for example, tomatoes from another region, maybe the northern region.
No.
And meanwhile, it is possible for you to grow some of the food items in your own region so that we don't have to be transporting perishable food items across the country.
What are
Hence the call for the decentralization.
No, you see, even when they were talking about the decentralization, so for perishables, at every point, it's never even been with government. It has always been with the schools. So when they were talking about
were the schools not under instruction to procure from specific suppliers and vendors?
No, for perishables, no. It has never been.
But for non-perishables?
It was for non-perishables. And even with the non-perishables, you see, it demonstrates the lack of understanding that the NDC had and even the public also had. If you look at the non-perishables, it was not as though we centralize all the food from Tema or Accra here and distribute to the schools. So you have suppliers within the regions.
Were schools in the northern region not buying rice from Accra?
No. So what happened was that, I'm going to help. You didn't work in the ministry, so at least we'll throw more clarity into it. Yes, so this is what was happening. This is what was happening. When they were talking about centralization and decentralization, that's why they had no clue to what they were discussing. It won't make economic sense for any supplier to come and buy food from Accra here and go and distribute that food to schools in Tamale.
Yes.
Reasonably, the supplier may get the contract, secure the contract here with buffer stock, but will go and buy the food items from Tamale because of even transportational challenges and the fact that they want to cost. Yes. So when they were talking about we are going to decentralize, already the process was decentralized in terms of the practical and the raw distribution chain. It was not a case that at every point maybe buffer stock gets food from Accra here and they send the food to the school. It was never the case. Suppliers were within the regions, suppliers were within the districts. The only concern was that within that arrangement, suppliers had contract signed with buffer stock in Accra here.
So it was just a contractual thing?
It was just a contractual
thing. It was not a supply?
No, it wasn't a supply thing. But what their argument was that they were now going to remove the suppliers and then give the contract directly to the headmasters. And we cautioned them against that. You see, they more or less tricked the headmasters to believe that, well, when you have the contract to supply yourself, some way, somehow, you have the chance or the potential of making some procurement benefits. Because you could, yes, I mean, that is in fact, when it comes to procurement, if you are not necessarily about stealing, but if I knew this would come in, so let me land. If a headmaster is able to negotiate well with his supplier and able to cut what government is, the amount that government is offering, it becomes the headmaster's benefit. I mean, this is basic common sense. If I'm supposed to buy maize, and government says the maize is supposed to be 400 cedis, and I'm able to negotiate and get it at 350 cedis, do you think the headmaster will bring the 50 cedis back to the government? Clearly no. So they trick the headmasters into believing that now they are going to remove the suppliers and give the contract to the headmasters. But that was obviously going to be inimical to us. Because you see, government, the way government run, it is not always the case that government has money. So at every point, the government is to give a contract to any person. What governments do is that give it to you as a supplier, have that fiscal space to be able to raise money. The supplier, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3 months, even sometimes 6 months. Then government comes in and then makes payment. So at every point, even if government is not in the position to raise money, the food will still be there. That was the method that we were using. This guy said, no. When we come, we will make sure that the headmasters have the supplies. The headmasters will be the persons to be giving the contract, and they will go to the schools, they will go to the farms to go and procure. Now you are even going to make the work of the headmaster even double. One as an administrative officer of the school, and now you've also turned the headmaster into a supplier. Now when they came, they attempted it. I have spoken to about 2-3 headmasters just this morning before I came on this show. They say yes, when they came, they indeed gave them the food supplies, including the perishables, which has always been with the school's management, and the non-perishables. So it was ongoing. But of course, like we projected and predicted, our prophecy came to pass, that it will come to a time where you may not have the financial muscles to pay directly. Because for the headmasters, they have to get the money before they go to the market. So they renege on that. Then food started trooping in from the traditional system, where suppliers would then go and supply. So that went into around October. And from November till December, they also asked the headmasters to then go back and do the supply again. Now, when I talk about supply, in this case, the headmasters were to do supply of the two food items, the perishable and the non-perishable.
The headmasters were to procure?
Yeah, to procure and supply. So when they came into power first, they indeed went by what they had promised in their manifesto, that they were going to, their definition of decentralization, by then giving the veto power to the headmaster to do the procurement and the supply. So the headmaster started. But I told you that the challenge with that arrangement is that government, the way governance runs, you may not always have that fiscal strength to be able to procure. It is the more reason why you bring in these suppliers as middlemen. One, you are creating jobs for the suppliers because they are ordinary Ghanaians. You are boosting the local economies. At the same time, you are giving yourself that space to be able to always organize money for the suppliers, whilst at every point there is food in the school. So they changed this because they had promised. Then reality had to hit them, quickly had to amend their ways, and then came in with their own supplies, the old system that government...
The old system that the MPP government run?
Yes.
Is what the NDC government is currently running?
Currently, yes. From January till now, what is now happening is, you see, that when I spoke to the headmasters, this is what they are saying. From October up till December, the headmasters were made to do the procurement and the supplies. Those ones are in arrears, right?
They haven't been paid.
They haven't been paid. And now, from January up till now, government has only supplied non-perishable food items, and government has also not paid that of the perishable food items. So as at now, even from October till now, there are two standing arrears. One from the procurement made by the headmasters themselves on the perishable and non-perishable food items, and the other being from January up to now, which is only the perishable food item. That's what we said. I said that the message or the pressure that the guy brought, that Nefeni brought, was not clear and honest enough. It created an impression as if the problem has been solved. But in raw sense, and in fact, the problem has not been solved.
So this money is supposed to go towards the new procurement or towards the arrears?
Exactly. That's why we needed that clarity. Is it the arrears or is it the new procurement?
Sammy, is it supposed to go towards the
arrears
or the new procurement?
Doesn't matter.
No, it's information no, don't say it doesn't matter. No, don't say it doesn't matter. There are monies owed. And there are things that need to be bought.
Yes.
Money has been disbursed. Yes. Is it supposed to go towards the arrears or supposed to go towards the new procurements? Because the reason that the headmaster wait.
They know what to do.
So no, in order for you to make subsequent disbursements, you ought to be able to know what the money is going towards. Yes. The complaints from the headmasters, at least according to the reports, was that they are unable to buy now, and so they may have to close down. Now you have given them money. Yeah. I don't think it is unwise to clarify if this money is supposed to go towards the arrears owed or towards the new purchases, so that subsequently would be clear in our minds when the headmasters or if the headmasters come out again to make any of the claims that they have made, whether they are asking for new money or for old money. So I think it is just first able to clarify.
So the point is
or you gave it to them and just said that they may use it as fit.
The headmasters need money to run the system.
Yes.
Monies that will be used to pay current or buy current food that the students will need, and monies that they owe other people. So when they have been given money, they themselves will look around.
No, it doesn't work like that.
So maybe answer me this. Is this sufficient to be able to cover both the arrears and money needed for new procurement?
Definitely part of the arrears and part of current procurement. That is how it works, because you cannot say that because of your arrears, you are not going to buy food stuff for the students who currently need food. That's the point I'm making. So they will just find a middle point on exactly how to use the money. That is what it means. If there are major state institutions that still owe, but they still run. You understand?
Is it possible for you to walk us through your procurement? I mean, Kwesi I just told us how things run under their administration and how they did their procurement. Now you were supposed to introduce a change. He says you introduced it for some months, and now you have reverted to the old system.
Clearly, that is not true. Let me.
No. Hold on. You can speak to headmasters.
Relax.
Let him explain.
First of all, Kwesi says that he was able to contact some headmasters and got some information, and I'm happy that he was able to do that, because many years ago, headmasters did not have that opportunity to even speak of outsiders. We had a situation where some headmasters were disciplined and transferred and interdicted and what have you, because they made some pronouncements. And so if today you are happy, you are sitting on a platform and you are happy saying that you were able to engage a headmaster and the headmaster was able to give you information.
But now I don't know.
Let me talk.
I was
no. You had finished talking.
No, I asked him a question.
If you want to finish, you can finish.
I asked him a question.
If you want to finish, you can finish.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
Sami,
if today Kwesi is telling me that, no. Now let me talk.
No, but you just said if he wants to finish, he can finish.
Okay, so
I was going to suggest to you that you should let him finish his point,
okay.
And then you can come in. You can go ahead and finish your point.
You see, the logic that under the MPP's administration, headmasters could not speak is unfounded. It was the usual way of working.
Oh, you are answering what he said. I thought you wanted to finish what you were saying earlier.
No, but I mean, he's raised a very important point that I believe I have to address before I even go on to what I want to say. But what I want to say, now the bigger problem is not really about Haruna. Initially, I thought the guy was incompetent. Because if you look at all the campaign...
The education minister.
Yes. If you look at all the campaign promises that they made on education, it appears they've not been able to even start or implement about 10% of it. But I made some checks and, of course, spoke to a lot of people. Then I came to the understanding that the challenges Haruna is facing is more political than competence.
Where from this?
You see... I'm coming. He understands this better. It's more political.
I don't understand anything.
Haruna has an ambition to run for flag bearers. Hold on.
Where did you get this information from?
We know the politics.
Where did you get this information from?
I'm a reasonable person.
I'm not encouraging anything.
I'm a reasonable person.
How did you come by this information?
I'm a reasonable person. I'm a rational human being.
How did you come by this information?
That's what I'm telling you. I'm a rational human being. Okay. So let me learn. Let me make my point. Haruna wants to become the flag bearer of the NDC one day.
I see.
Atu also has ambitions. So now, Mr. Haruna, if your ambitions is so wild that it becomes a threat to my ambition, what I have to do is that I have to then more or less cripple you in your office. So
you're saying that the finance minister is deliberately crippling the education minister to make him appear incompetent.
Other than that.
That's a very wild allegation.
Other than that, please give me a second. Other than that, these are some of the promises that they made in the education sector. Let's look at how far they've gone with this implementation compared to the other sectors, the promises that they made. And how far they've gone.
They have just released 200 million. 200
million, how much is being owed? 200 million, how much is being owed?
We don't know.
Exactly, that is the question. And I'm saying that, don't even take it from me. I mean, your station, at some point, I recall Johnny's Bite, full editorials on food shortage, on Galamsey, and why the MPP administration was incompetent and why they have to be removed from office. So I'm sure we can throw the challenge. Don't take it from me. Maybe Kwesi Kwarteng is politically exposed. He came to represent a political party and might not bring the truth. Let's call the headmasters themselves and let's even pledge anonymity that they are going to speak off camera. Let's speak to them and find out the situation. How much is being owed? And on the promise about decentralizing food supplies to headmasters, what is the state of that promise? Somebody sits here and call me that, I am lying. I am putting it to him as a matter of fact and on record that policy has faded. That policy has not only faded, but it's also crashed. That as I sit here today, it is government, central government, which is doing the supplies, contrary to what they promised in their manifesto. And they tricked headmasters into believing that headmasters are going to do the supplies. After headmasters had done for about 3 months, they then stepped in because they realized that suppliers were unwilling to give to the headmasters again. And of course, government also have to enjoy some procurement benefits. NDC members have to enjoy some procurement benefits. So they took it back again. And around October, thereabout, they also asked headmasters to go and do their own procurement on supplies. So that we have that as an outstanding arrears. They've not paid. No, when the headmasters don't conjure food items, they obviously have to source from suppliers. That is in arrears from October up to December. Those ones are for perishable and non-perishable food items. Somebody should give us how much they owe them, how much they are willing to commit them. And beyond that, from January up to now, perishable food items, which is 30% of the whole amount that's supposed to go to the schools, have also not gone. So when you write a statement, I mean, I used to be at the Ministry of Education. That you can be owing, let's say, 500 million, you go and pay 50 million. You say, government releasing 50 million to blah, 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 blah. For the PR of it. I am telling you.
That's what you were doing.
No, I'm telling you that it can be done.
That's what you were doing.
No, I've not done that. I'm telling you that it can be done. That's why I'm saying that we need clarity on how much is being owed and how much has been disbursed. Other than that, I'm telling you, in the next 2-3 days, you will realize Charles will come out again. Primus, of course, I mean, Primus has been a bit charitable because if it was your own story that for the past 7 months, perishable food items has not been paid. And Charles is being gentle. Now, Primus is being gentle. He said, oh, we have enough food. It's only this that has not been paid. Let's roll back time to just a year and a half ago, 2024, prior to the election. How this whole food supplies issue was weaponized against the MPP. Today, they want us to say that everything is well. All is not well. They should face the problem. They should go and pay the perishable food items. They should go and pay the non-perishable food items. They should decentralize what the promise that they give, that they're going to decentralize food items for the headmasters to do the procurement and supply. Other than that, they've deceived headmasters, they've trained headmasters, and they should take responsibility for that. And when I said ATO or the finance ministry or the government is sabotaging Haruna, I meant it. Let's go through their promises.
I need you to be careful about these statements you're making, because you're making wild allegations.
Yes,
and you are not.
And I have basis. I'm going to prove to you. I am going to.
You
prove
have
to you.
evidence of these statements.
I'm saying that even we see we have circumstantial evidence. I'm a lawyer. We have circumstantial evidence. We say assembly dancing where you try a home at the dancing. The word you call circumstantial evidence. You connect the dots and you're able to come to the reasonable conclusion. That's what any rational person.
What are your dots?
Yeah. So these are the promises that they made. And if I just have been it. Introduce the Bright Beginnings initiative to revive early childhood education for the well-being of Ghanaian, blah, blah. It's not done. Launch a furniture for all initiative. It's not done. Significantly improve the people to textbooks ratio. Also not done. Improve the free SHS program by providing a dedicated and sustainable source of funding. We need clarity on that. Decentralize the procurement of food for senior high schools. It's also not done. That was also another trick. Abolish the double track system to restore a stable. Up to now, double track is still there. Embark on an emergency infrastructure drive. What is emergency infrastructure? We should not heard anything about. Continue our policy. This is even at the SHS level. Now, if I'm minded to proceed, introduce legislation to streamline and regulate the awarding of government scholarships. It's also not done. Hold the centralization of the GET fund and restore it. So, what is the point I'm making? The point I'm making is that every promise, every series of promises that they made under their manifesto, this is even their bridge format, the best you can give them is about 7%. If Haruna, with all his knowledge in parliament and his leadership skills, up to now has not been able to finish about 7 to 10% of the promises that the NDC gave. In a sector like education, if the guy is not being sabotaged, then probably it's incompetence. Maybe I'll take the balanced position. If he's not being sabotaged by his own government, then it's incompetence. And I do not believe Haruna is incompetent. I believe Haruna has been deliberately sabotaging
the government is sabotaging
and I'm
the
calling
education
on, yes,
ministry.
And I'm calling on them to have their, I mean, these things happen. And I'm calling, I record during the MPP vice presidential race. Today, leak information about this minister, leak information about this. I am in that space. And I know
the NPP was leaking information about it.
No, I am saying that during when the NPP, the Bawumia was here to appoint his vice, you realize the whole issues about.
You mean Akufo-Addo?
Yeah, during Akufo-Addo's administration, when Bawumia was nominated as a flag bearer and had to get a vice, and the time was going. You see, when it happens like that, you leave a room for those with high interest to destroy themselves. And that is what is happening in NDC now. And I'm calling on them to have their flag bearership election earlier, so that government policies will not
Where did this come from in this conversation? But wait. Let me just introduce Dr. Ramsey, who has just joined us. He's a director of research with the United Party. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you. Now,
great to have you.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you, and good morning to my colleagues on this platform.
Sami, you have a lot to respond to.
Oh, yes.
I want us to start from the decentralization of the procurement process.
Kwesi clearly is churning out propaganda. First of all, the decentralization promise that the NDC did is currently at play. The reason why Charles is complaining is because there are a number of schools that are assisted by government. They are the ones who are naturally going to benefit from this fund. And you see, the point is that the payment that has been made, the 200 million Ghana cedis, has been made to clear that from last year, October to February.
That's what the payment is for.
Yeah, that's what the payment is.
And headmasters are the ones doing the supply.
Masa, who are you?
Headmasters are not doing the supply. Relax. It's not the headmasters doing the supply.
Relax.
So the decentralization is not at play.
You are sitting on this platform.
It's Buffer that is doing the supply.
You are sitting on this platform and you are trying to explain away the reason why your government was incompetent. The reason why your government made a whole lot of noise about free SHS and failed to fund free SHS, for which reason we came and gave the promise and made sure that we gave necessary allocations to relieve that financial support.
Allocation is not spending.
Listen,
get this right. Allocation is not spending.
Have we not released 200 million?
You can allocate A and spend less.
Please. So now, it is not true that decentralization policy is not happening.
Go ahead, Master.
It is happening currently. The issue is the schools who are under charters and are being supported by government. They are the ones who are currently complaining.
Which ones are being supported by government?
You know, there are schools under charters. Cali schools and other schools. They are all under free SHS. I work as a PR. I am saying that. Listen. But I know what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that the decentralization program is currently ongoing. Relax, Master. Relax. Let me talk. You are sitting in opposition and you are channeling our propaganda. Again, he says that. Hold on. Now you see.
Let me just
he
ask
said
you
a lot of things.
Let me just ask you this.
Okay.
Now, the plan was to decentralize.
Yes, it has been done.
Are you aware that senior high schools the headmasters of senior high schools are doing their own procurement at this time?
Yes, they are doing their own procurement.
So we can call an SHS headmaster now and
they are currently doing their own procurement.
Okay.
You see, he made
procurement of what? Is it perishable or non-perishable?
It's not true.
Both. No, it's not true. Both. Oh, Sammy, you don't know. You are miseducating the public. You don't know. No, I know.
You are just a PRO for a ministry. So
it doesn't change anything.
Relax.
It doesn't change anything.
Relax. You were just a PRO for the ministry.
Don't come and sit here. If you don't speak to GS now.
Let me talk.
I don't think we'll be doing any
you are sitting here doing propaganda.
Let's speak to them.
Let me talk.
Whether food supplies have been done by the headmasters or...
Why? You let me talk. It's my time. It's my time. Let me talk. He says that, somebody is trying to sabotage anybody. Has Aruna come to tell you that he will contest for election? Has Dr. Atufose come to tell you that he will contest for election?
Only reasonable people.
Relax. Master, all of us are politically astute. So don't come and sit here and pretend as if you know everything in this country. Nobody has come to inform anybody that he wants to contest for any election. Is he telling me that all the financial shortfall that happened under the education ministry, it was because Dr. Educhu wanted to be president? Under your watch, as the PRO for the education ministry under the MPP.
Mismatch.
That is what you are saying. Because you are suggesting that because somebody wants to contest anybody, all measures are being put in place to make sure that they are embarrassed, financing is not given to the ministry. Meanwhile, the man you were the PRO for also wanted to be president. So are you saying, relax?
You see the illogical...
You need to stop interjecting.
Who was it in the government? Your man was about to contest the vice president at the time. So what are you trying to tell me that all the financing difficulties your ministry was facing, that you are sitting on this platform saying that you were able to count press statements that were fraught with a lot of lies and what have you? That's what you are saying on this platform. Are you saying that he was sabotaged because he wanted to be president? You see, we cannot come and sit on a platform, and I'm very disappointed. You didn't ask him any questions about all the allegations he was making.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Because
I did.
He should have given you evidence.
Wait, I asked him where he came about this information from. I told him he was making all allegations.
It was not enough.
I asked him
it was not enough.
Don't attack the host.
What more do you expect?
And you allowed him to continue saying that when he didn't provide any evidence or whatsoever.
I did ask him for evidence, did I not?
Did he provide? But you allowed him to continue.
We are becoming proud.
Anyway, let's go on. Let's go on. Yeah,
financing has been given.
Yes.
The ministry and
to
the
clear
government
the backlog.
has responded to it, to clear the backlog and to continue feeding our students.
Which is good.
The decentralization policy is currently ongoing. Headmasters are doing it. And I think that we should be extremely... You are sitting on this platform and you are happy to say that you were able to reach out to a headmaster. That is an improvement in the status of governance and tolerance. When you were the PRO for your ministry, headmasters were interdicted and transferred because they made statements that government found distasteful.
Which headmaster?
And you are, there are many. There are many.
Which headmaster?
You can Google. You can just do a Google search.
You have said he's making unfounded allegations.
You can. It is plenty on social media right from 2017 to 2024. Headmasters in this country who criticize aspects of the implementation of free education. Some of them were transferred in internet. You know,
mention two.
Go to your second. I will mention their names to your next platform. You can do a simple Google search. You know, it is a fact.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that you are presented as if you don't know that this happened between 2017 and 2024. It happened. It happened.
You have made a statement.
Yes.
The onus is on you to prove the statement that you have made.
You go to Dr. Ramsey. I'll mention their names.
All right, I'll come back to you. Dr. Ramsey, great to have you join us.
Thank you.
We're talking about the free SHS, and I know this is something that was greatly, the education sector and how to improve it was greatly covered in the Great Transformational Plan. This is where we are now. Heads of senior high schools say they were closing down, but government has intervened as of yesterday and released 200 million Ghana cedis to pay either arrears or prospective or future purchases, so school can continue to be in session. I'm sure you've heard some of the submissions of both Dr. Sami and Kwesi on this matter. What do you make of all of this?
Well, now, thank you so much again for this opportunity, and let me say a very good morning to the good people of Ghana. Indeed, listening to the crisis bedeviling our educational sector, it is nothing new. We in the United Party anticipated such because of the ills inherited by the current administration. But of course, it's been 2 years now, almost 2 years now. We would have thought that there would be some form of adequate reforms, right, to give us some form of short-term cushioning so that we can be able to mitigate some of the issues that we are going to discuss today. Under the previous administration, the wanted former finance minister, who indeed his own party members called for his head, right, including the boss of Kwesi Kwarteng, Honorable Kennedy Ejapong, who has called him an incompetent leader, together with other prominent Ghanaians across the length and breadth of this country. Under Ken Oforiatta, Get Fund, which is meant to also support the free SHS program, including financing of our free SHS feeding program, was collateralized.
The free SHS?
The Get Fund was collateralized to raise about 3.2 billion cedis in Dutch bonds. Was that right also, Kwesi?
Yeah, we needed money for infrastructure.
You needed money for infrastructure, great. So he has just confirmed that they raised 3.2 billion.
The money
No, it's 3.2 billion. You collateralize. That's why they reintroduced the Capping and Realignment Act. And they did that under the aegis of that act. And then they capped, what do you call it, Get Fund, and then they collateralize it. Now, you're talking about infrastructure development. Under the aegis of the free SHS, the reason why your boss, right, at that time, did not even solve the menace of double track system was because of a deficit in what? Education infrastructure. There was a huge deficit in education infrastructure. And that comes back to what? The implementation of the policy and even the formulation of the policy. We have argued that as free as it sounds, it should not be totally free for all Ghanaians. And that policy should have been a redistributive policy rather than a distributive policy. We can have fuel crisis in this country. It doesn't mean that people do not have alternative means for transport. Some people have electric vehicles. And for that matter, it is prudent to do a thorough analysis as to how many people can afford and how many people cannot afford. This is a social intervention policy. It doesn't mean that all Ghanaians, some Ghanaians cannot afford school fees for their wards. That is what has given birth to all these issues of budgetary constraints that we have to deal with. And I'm taxing the Ministry of Education, looking at our Great Transformational Plan as the only panacea to the woes that we're talking about this morning. We have said that the decentralization of the procurement processes and supplies for the school feeding program is a must. We have seen under your regime, Kwesi, the scandal in regard to the buffer stock CEO, Hanan.
He has a scandal.
Oh, you don't know about it?
He's in court.
You don't know about, but why is he in court?
He's been charged.
Because he looks nice. He's a handsome man, so he's in court.
Every accused person.
But that's what I'm saying, that I'm not adjudicating. I'm saying that it's a scandal. There's a scandal. scandal against him.
There's a charge against him, not scandal.
Well, it's a scandal. You can put it, you can use technical words, but be that as it may, there's a scandal against him.
A charge.
Right, and he's fighting for his faith in court.
He's proving his innocence.
Well, we shall live to see. Now, the buffer stock was not really supplying efficiently to these schools under the previous administration. Caterers were not being paid their arrears on time, and this whole issue has been inherited by this current government and is still prevailing. What we are saying is that at least 70% of perishable goods used for the free SHS should be procured within the locality of the school. And then the Ministry of Education, right, and cooperating with the Ministry of Agriculture, should be able to support some schools to also plant what they eat. Just as under the presidency of Echampong, he introduced Operation Feed Yourself, right? Our secondary schools, previously it happened. Secondary schools, you used to have farms, school farms and all that. We should revive that system.
Are they no longer, secondary schools no longer have their own farms?
It's not efficient. It's not efficient. We want it to be scaled up so that it supports this school feeding program. So I think that going forward, if it is goats, if it's cows, right, even the Kukon kitten that the NDC has brought about, the different tiers of the Kukon kitten, maybe incorporate the third tier or tier 2 into the school feeding program, right? And then there should be a total forensic audit. I don't know why to date the NDC has failed to show all the loopholes and the rots and the loot that came about under the previous administration in regard to the free SHS program. It's very, very important because we have our looted funds that are in people's pockets till date.
How much?
How much? I can tell you it could be in the millions.
Don't interject.
It could be in the millions. Now, there's also another issue. If you look at the current financing to the free SHS, it's about 42% of the total Get Fund revenue. 42%. And that cannot be sustainable because then there is some form of opportunity cost where now they have to forgo certain infrastructure development to support this policy. We are saying that they should look at this policy to reorient it and tackle those that need help, those that are highly destituted. And of course, people like yourself now, I'm sure you can afford the school fees of your ward when they get, I don't know if they are up to free SHS.
No, they are not.
Okay, when they get to the SHS level, I'm sure you can be able to afford. I know Kwesi too can be able to afford. You know what I mean? So definitely, those that can afford, we let them pay. Those that cannot afford, we cater for them. And then we save money for infrastructure development of the educational sector.
Now, there's something that you've said over and over again. I'm sure, I believe I've also heard Alan Chamati speak about it.
That's right.
That it has to be on a need basis.
Yes.
How exactly, practically, are we to come to this need basis or need-based assignment of the free SHS program? Are parents supposed to submit to, I don't know, or a list to say that, well, I'm able to afford and so my child should not pay? Are they supposed to go to the same schools? Are there supposed to be free SHS schools and those for parents who can afford to take their children to? Exactly how does this play out, according to your plan?
It also has to have a patriotic underdealing in this regard. In as much as we are trying to make sure that this program becomes successful and tackles the destituted Ghanaians, if you look at the District Assembly League table, that is another solution to this issue that you're raising about. We have districts that are highly destituted and regions that are poor. So we can even use a geographic angle to tackle regions that are highly destituted so that people who live within those environs would have benefits from free SHS, right? Then we come back to the urban areas, right? We should have a system in place that can link your bank accounts, right? Yes, to a portal that the government can be able to analyze your bank accounts and your earnings, and also the amount of income tax you pay.
Isn't that far-fetched?
Well, now, it starts from somewhere.
It sounds good. I mean,
yes.
For parents to be able to say that, well, I can pay, so I'll pay.
Yeah.
It's just that's why I said that, to see how the implementation.
Yes, that's why I said that it also has a patriotic angle to it. Because in as much as we would propose such policy intervention and all that, right, you can have people that would also try and bypass the system, as we're seeing in our current system.
So if you are assessed and you should be able to pay, then you should be forced to pay?
Definitely, you should be able to pay. Yes, if you can be able to support your ward school fees, I mean, why not? Why not pay? If you are highly destituted, then the government should take care of you.
What
just
are
like
the parameters exactly?
Just like LEAP. The LEAP policy is not for everyone. I'm not sure you seated here, you would file for LEAP. Or Kwesi, or my brother Dr. Ayi. Right? But there are parameters that guides how people would benefit from LEAP and who can apply.
Do you think this proposal that you're making should also be applied to the school feeding program?
Well,
that parents who can afford to provide food for their children should not be under the school feeding program, and those who cannot afford,
I think that once we're able to cut down expenditure on the educational aspect, like the tutoring aspect of the 3 SHS, it would save money so that we can cover more like a distributive policy of this. We can orient the distributive the policy of free feeding for the 3 SHS program, right? So it will be more like everyone can enjoy the free feeding, but when it comes to the tutorial aspects and the other goodies that comes with the 3 SHS.
That one, those who can afford should pay.
Well, that one, yes, those who can afford. So that would save money so that, I mean, if it comes to food, everyone can enjoy because of the nutritional aspects of it that supports kids. But we know that now, under the previous administration, I mean, excuse me to say this morning, that the pictures that were coming out of the canteens of these schools, I'm sure that now a dog in somebody's house will not even eat such food. It was quite unfortunate. And I'm sure you are aware, Kwesi, that certain foods that were given were not up to standard, were not even balanced as the foundational framework of that policy says that it's going to ensure that all children enjoy the benefits of what? A free, balanced diet. The diets that they were given to our kids were not balanced at all. Some people would even have food without meat. Some people would even have only rice without stew or soup. We've seen those pictures. And so we hope that going forward, these things will not even happen under this regime. Otherwise, then what is the difference between the previous regime and this current regime? So we live to see.
I'll read some messages coming in now, and then Sami, if you have any response to any of the manifesto promises that Kwesi read out, which he claims is the reason he believes that the Education Ministry is being sabotaged, perhaps you can answer those. But let me read some of your messages coming in. Good morning, Na. It's so refreshing to hear that monies have finally been released to solve the feeding issue in our secondary schools. I'm also excited, especially for the final year students who are preparing to take their exams. Kudos to the government. However, my worry is that you promised to reset, but doing the same thing, but you're doing the same thing the other government did. This is not new anyway, and that's from Master Planner Jr. texting us from Kintampo. And this one is saying, Kwesi, please don't talk when it's not your turn because you're being disruptive to the program. He doesn't add his name though.
Are you sure that's not from you?
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Absolutely not.
Your own friend.
I can tell you when you are being disruptive. I think I've already told you a few times. Good morning, Na, and the team. So right now, what do you want us to do? We pay money, you're upset. We haven't paid the money, you're upset. What at all should Mahama do? We are tired. Okay. And let me just read one more. Perhaps it's high time we give the UP party the opportunity so that we see how all of the things the great transformational plan can take place. Otherwise, they should lend their plan to any government that comes into power. Because if you have a plan that works, government is a continuum, and we should all be interested in the welfare of Ghanaians. And that's from Laate, sending that in. Okay, let me come back to you,
now,
Sammy.
Yes, I promise you that I'll finish you with names of headmasters who were either suspended or transferred or sacked under the MPP for what they did that government found distasteful. In 2018, Timpane SHS, the headmaster's name is Dominic Indegu Amolali. He was suspended and transferred because some NDC officials had gone to the school to speak to some of the students on food shortages. When you come to Agogo SHS, John Mensa Okutu, he was transferred because there were significant accommodation challenges in the school, as if he was the one who was supposed to build the school, the dormitory blocks and classroom blocks for the students. Were you not the one supposed to do it? You did it, and you cowed everybody that criticized free SHS into submission under your watch. And we all experienced it.
So he was suspended for speaking on it?
Yes, he was suspended for allowing people to enter the school to speak to the students. Again, when I speak about the Agogo headmaster, he was suspended because news reports came that students couldn't get a place to sleep, as if he was the one supposed to build the dormitory block for them. Number two, he was making an unfounded allegation, and I want to reiterate the point, that nobody has told anybody in this country that they want to contest any election in the NDC. In fact, before the MPP left in 2024, they were owing premix under recoveries at a tune of over 100 million Ghana cedis. Was it because Howard Kumsi wanted to be president? Every sector under the MPP, they were in debt. Was it because the ministers or the directors there wanted to be president? You see, the MPP is done with their election. They want to cause disaffection in the NDC and pitching one candidate or anybody they think wants to contest the election to another. There is nothing like that. Nobody has told anybody. If there is any cash crunch or any financial, it's because Ghana is, I mean, as a country, we definitely and always have financial challenges. It is up to government, just like we have demonstrated, in making sure that we fund essential sectors of our system. And I can tell you now, the non-perishables are in abundance in our schools. Call the headmaster, they will tell you that rice, maize, beans, and the things Percy mentioned, they are in abundance. The difficulty has to do with the perishables. And government has been able to release funds for that. You understand? So we must make it. And I made mention of CHAS. CHAS is Conference of Health for Assisted Schools. These are schools government supports in terms of funding to do their own procurement and what have you. And they are the ones who have complained about it. And government has been able to release funds to support that, side or that aspect of our free SHS. So really, the MPP, they are majoring in minus. They want to find a way to chipping away the product that government has received in the last about 14 months since the President Mohamed government came, that we have been able to give dedicated and substantial funding to free SHS. When they were in opposition, they said when President Mohamed comes, he will cancel free SHS. This is a man who has come, and in his first year, he's demonstrated significant commitment to education and especially free SHS. He has implemented free tertiary education for persons with disability. He had made sure that over 152,000 tertiary students have benefited from no fee stress. He has made sure that over 6 million sanitary pads have been provided for our young girls in school. This year, we are doing over 12 million for the benefit of our young girls. And you sit on a touchline, you want to pitch one candidate against the other to make sure that there is a problem within this government. There is nothing, and I can assure you that we will have one of the most peaceful flag bearership elections we have ever seen in this country.
The NDC is not like that. You understand? Haruna has not told anybody that he wants to contest any election. Dr. Atufosi has not told anybody that he wants to contest any election. So that piece of information was completely baseless, it was needless, and it's a mere propaganda that will be dismissed by anybody that is listening to us on this platform. All right, thank you, Doc. You have a final word, and then we'll move on to our Galamsey conversation.
You see, you make an argument as though people don't have conscience and people cannot reason. We are rational beings. So rational beings have the capacity to think and able to analyze. If you want to sit here and suggest to me that all of us don't know that I see Dunketia will run for presidency or flabbergasting, that Julius will run, that Haruna will run, that Atoforsen will run, then probably we may be just doing ourselves the service. And beyond just even being rational beings, at least there are bases for that. Researchers have gone into it. I have seen Musa Dankwa even made his own projections on their chances. I'm not sure he did it out of a vacuum. So at least there is a base, a reference to reference what a researcher has done. That is, are people who probably have such ambition. So you can sit here and dismiss it and run away from the politics of it. But I'm suggesting to you that the kind of politics that we do in this country.
In MPP.
Respectfully. She directed me not to interject you.
Yes,
no, Alice,
don't do
you
what you are against. Yes, but don't do. When he did it, you didn't like it. So
Alice,
please, let's go.
I am saying that we can dismiss that, but the reality remains the same. And of course, time will tell. But I'm saying that, assuming even without admitting that is not even the logic or that argument that I drive is not even to be sustained. If there is even an assumption or a possibility of that, for which reason Haruna is now appearing to be incompetent, they should resolve it. At the end of the day, students should not suffer from their own political gymnastics and their own political infighting. But he made a point about suspension and transferring of teachers and head teachers. You see, we create an impression as though when you come into the government or public service, some way, somehow, you become immune to any disciplinary measures. I mean, I did not read the report that he read, because I obviously read from his phone. He went through Google and searched and then came to tell us a narrative. But going by the same narrative, I'm not even changing it. He said a headmaster allowed some NDC folks to come into the school to talk to the people. Apart from government of Ghana, which entity will allow members of a political party to come and talk to the students? For what reason? There are channels and structures of communication. So if a headmaster believes that there are no foods in the school, there are channels of communication. Even when it comes to the channels of communication, beyond the formal one, they have structures, they have institutions like CHAS, they have other organizations that they can channel their grievances to. Aside the fact that you may have to communicate to your district director, to the regional director, to the national director. You don't go and invite a political party and come and talk to the students. Would that solve the problem? A political party, are they coming to give food? Do they come and carry food? If a headmaster do this and I'm the Minister for Education or the GES boss, I will sack him and sack him and sack him again. What are we talking about? Why are you condoning so much indiscipline? There is a guy called Teacher Kojo, and when he was sacked, I learned about a year he's not been in public office, he's not been in office. And people were making noise all over. That Akufo-Addo government is against teachers. Teacher Kojo spoke about Akufo-Addo. How many criticisms haven't Akufo-Addo received? That who is Teacher Kojo that Akufo-Addo will waste time on him? The reason was that for 1 year he didn't come to work. And I'm telling you, now, apart from government of Ghana, there is no institution anywhere in the world that anybody will upset himself 1 year and to be normalized. And then it will even be used as a political weapon against the incumbent government. So on the issue about suspension, I don't think suspension is illegal. Suspended for whatever reason. And of course, people will be suspended. People may commit an offense and later hide under that umbrella that they were speaking for students. A lot of time, they were not speaking for students. I am aware of headmasters who, in spite of the fact that government has provided essential services, government has provided for them, were still exploiting students. What did you expect the government to do to them? You will face them. And when we also start to play politics of it, please do not complain. Headmasters have channels of communication. So there is no way any headmaster will say that, or government will say that they are going to stop headmasters from speaking. And you see, they've drove that narrative to the extent that as if there was some culture of silence among headmasters during our time. But I asked them, this is a logical question. If indeed there was culture of silence among headmasters, how were they able to know all those wrongs that they felt was under our reign during in the schools when we were also in power? It was because the headmasters were speaking up. Other than that, you wouldn't know that there was food shortage. Other than that, you wouldn't know that this was wrong. But you make an impression as though everything was wrong under administration. And I think just in London, my good friend made some remarks, and it appeared as though he's coming out with fresh ideas. It's not true. In actual science, he's coming from a very ignorant position. I'm sorry to use that. He made a point that he said 70% of the perishable food items should be procured within the localities. When it comes to perishable food items, maybe he meant non-perishable, But when it comes to perishable food items, it's even sourced, even during our time, and even during the early season, it's even sourced by the headmasters. So those ones are even purely localized. I'm not sure headmaster of Konongo would say, we'll go and source perishable food items X from Accra. It won't make sense. So that's what you said. That's not true.
You said 70%.
It's 100%. That's actually so. He proposed 70%. So during MPP and this respectfully. You
are saying ignorant. And you use the word ignorant.
Ignorant because you don't know the difference between perishable and non-perishable food items.
No.
Can I explain? No. Do you know why?
Because Kwesi, you can do better. I'm disappointed.
Respectfully.
You see, you know what you are doing. You are gagging me. You are gagging me against a position based on what he said. You are gagging me. Let me tell you why I feel you are gagging me.
You have used some words which are a bit distasteful. You know,
which is
you called him ignorant.
Yes,
you have
because
said
he's
he doesn't know
ignorant.
the difference between perishable and perishable.
Because 70% of the perishables does not need to be sourced from the local areas, because already 100% are being sourced from there.
Yeah,
even during your time, so it can't be from an informed position.
Without calling him ignorant.
It's not ignorant. It's not from an informed position. Let me move on. Then okay. So I withdraw the ignorance, not from an informed position. Stop that. Stop this.
Have you landed?
No, I'm London. You also spoke about the fact that, you see, they create an impression as if free SHS brought every challenge within the education sector. And I understand them, especially for political discussions like that, like this, because Akufo-Addo and our government stands to benefit from this whole free SHS policy. But you see, when you create an impression as though before free SHS there was nothing like infrastructure challenge, then I begin to worry.
You open the floodgates.
No, I'm coming. Which floodgate? Okay, what about the primary level? We don't know infrastructure challenges there. At primary level, we also have free SHS. You create an impression as though free SHS. You create an impression as though free SHS caused every problem. Then you see, when I speak about non-informed he said, "Oh, we should have school farms." And that maybe some way, somehow, it will support or solve the problem. You can have school farms, but in reality and in practicality, it's just symbolic. Ghana, don't we have farms? Are we even be able to feed ourselves? So school farms will not cure the ineptness when it comes to food supply chain.
That's probably you didn't listen to what I said.
I wrote everything. Maybe if I didn't listen, you have the opportunity to bring it. What you need to do is to cause more production. You have always maintained that first, second, third, fourth industrial revolution, you did not take part. There has to be massive agricultural production so that you get more of the farm produce, you get more of the food materials. It becomes cheap for the government to be able to procure, or whoever is procuring. Then at every point there is food in the school. If you go and set up a rice farm in the school, well, are you suggesting to me that the rice farm can take care of the students for the entire 1 year? Clearly no. But I agree, to some extent it should be symbolic. But that is not a cure to the problem that we are discussing.
All right. Thank you, Kwesi Kwarteng. Let's move on to our second topic. You want to respond to what he said? Okay, I give you 1.5 minutes.
I think I'll not go towards that tangent and use unqualified words on this platform. My brother, indeed, coming from the camp of Kennedy Ohene Japan, when he talks like that, I'm not surprised. I mean, no.
You also can't do that. No, you also can't do that.
Now, people of Ghana know what I'm talking about.
You also can't do that. You can't do that. Kennedy Japan is not here.
That's his leader. That's his leader.
He's successful than your father.
He's his mentor.
No.
He's his mentor.
He's successful than your father.
How can you say this?
Leave him.
But now they're to each other, so you just stay out of it.
So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised you would talk like this. But again, I mean, we are led by Honorable Alan Kodotra-Manteng, who is a more disciplined senior person of this land. And definitely I will not come and spill garbage this morning like the way he's spilling. Anyway, now I did mention that there should be a sustainable financing model, right, to support commercial farming within our schools. In support with the Ministry of Finance, Agric, and then Education. That's what I said. And so if he says that we have school farms, are they commercial farms? The school farms that you claim your government supported or was in existence, are they commercial farms?
Schools don't engage in commercial farms.
That's why I'm saying that we need to bring about policies that can uplift them to be able to have these commercialized farms to support this program. That is what you fail to understand.
Is that the mandate of the schools?
It is not a mandate of the school, but it is in support of the policy. Kwesi, it is in support of the policy. You are the educational ministry.
Former.
Yeah, he was at the education ministry. That's what I'm trying to say. That you said that, yes, basic education was free and therefore there were challenges. But again, what he fails to understand is that the free SHS policy brought about more challenges to our free education, secondary sector, educational sector, where people had to even crash in dorms. And dorms were like in Sawon prison. He knows that. And as a result of that, they had to implement the double track system. And I'm saying that if they had thought through this process, this program, and made it a redistributive policy, I'm not sure we would even have gotten to this place. And so now, when he makes also certain remarks that, well, Kennedy is more successful than my father. Maybe he doesn't know, and I'm not here to boast, but the MPP cannot pay back. Just remember this. The MPP can never pay back. Anyway.
I'm not referring to Alan, no. I'm referring to your biological father.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, you can't.
That the MPP can never pay back. Go and research. The MPP cannot pay back.
You shouldn't have made that first statement in the first place. So
anyway, that's fine.
Let's just move on from this, please.
That's fine. This is how cheap MPP politics has become. This is how cheap MPP politics has become. Have you realized the kind of communicators now they raise?
No, let's end it.
Can you realize?
Let's end it here.
Can you realize?
Let's end it.
Have you realized that?
Let's talk about
how cheap and declining MPP has become?
It's okay. Let's end it here. And please, moving forward, let's refrain from using derogatory language against each other. It will not propel this conversation.
But look at the leader he follows, so you should.
No.
You shouldn't be surprised.
No,
anyway, let's continue.
Ramsey, stop it. All right. Oh, my dear.
Let's continue.
Okay, let's move on to our Galamsey conversation. So we have been told that NIMOS has arrested 6 Chinese nationals, and they have recovered money, ammunition, and equipment which they have used for illegal mining activities along the Tano River in a place called Nyase. Now, we have only about 7 minutes to discuss this topic, and I think if social commentary on this matter since it was reported is anything to go by, the leading question is why are these Chinese people constantly emboldened to come back? We keep hearing about these arrests, we keep hearing about them coming back, and we keep hearing about their equipment, ammunition, cash, and so on being seized, and somehow they are able to get new equipment, whether through, well, the question is whether it's through our ports or wherever they get them from. How are we not able to nip this in the bud, especially with relation to Chinese nationals who come into the country to do this? Sammy?
Oh, yes. Personally, I think that they have been emboldened by several years of weakened systemic, regulations and checks. That is why constantly you see that even the overwhelming efforts that we see that our security services are putting in place, they are emboldened because they have their local people that they are working with. And to the extent that no Chinese will come to Ghana and know where Galamsey site is. They definitely get help from local people. And I want to use this opportunity to commend NIMOS for the consistent fight against Galamsey and illegal mining. They are doing so well. We have had situations where they've lost some of their men and what have you. And one of the difficulties we are facing is after they are arrested and they are sent to a police station or what have you, that avenue has become a lucrative venture for some of our security men, where they put in place all manner of measures to let them go off the hook. That is why when they are arrested, you will see that in a few weeks from then, they are still found out where they are. And so we must continue to admonish and, speak to our security officials that government will do its best. Government will put in place all the measures. NIMOS government has committed a lot of money to their works, and they have done a lot of arrests. And personally, I have seen significant improvement in several parts of the Ankobra River around the Elembele area. I've seen personally, I've gone there and I've seen significant improvement. There are places where we have not seen any improvement, and we must be candid and honest about it. But until we have been able to wage a consistent war and we have been able to take away every site where they do Galamsey, we will still have the difficulties. That, like I said, our law enforcement, from the police station to district courts, circuit courts, and what have you, it does appear to me that it has become an avenue where people make huge monies in terms of freeing them. And we must focus our lenses there and make sure that when NIMOS does this work, when they enter the forest, when they risk their lives to get these Chinese, their pain and their suffering will not be in vain. You understand the point I'm making? So I am not happy about this. They were found with arms, illegal arms. That one in itself is illegal. They are engaging in environmental terrorism. Look at how they've destroyed the land. You understand the point I'm making? And so really, they are also engaging in small-scale mining. They are not supposed to engage in small-scale mining. You understand? But all these things have happened because of local people, how they partner them and what have you. So we need to look at it. And I'm praying that NIMOS will continuously work assiduously to a point where we can all look back and see that they've done extremely well. You know that since they came, they've been able to retrieve 9 forest reserves. Now, are you aware of it? 9 forest reserves, which were no-go areas. They have been able to achieve that. And I think that we need to commend them and continue to encourage them.
As for the work of NIMOS, we commend them and we appreciate the work they are doing. Yeah. The problem, however, is the constant reports that we get. NIMOS has arrested them. NIMOS have arrested these people. Yeah. But then they keep coming back.
Because there are many.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and this thing has festered.
Is it that the punishment is not deterrent enough?
You see, this thing.
Is it that they know that they are able to come out? There is a problem with the system.
That's why I mentioned to you.
Them.
That's why I mentioned to you. There have been several
years of
empowerment and what have
you.
You understand?
Kwesi Kwarteng.
Yes. So, with your permission, I want to retract some of the words used against my brother. I mean, it was in the heat of the moment. I feel some of them were harsh and unfair and quite personal. And I felt it's important. I have to do that. I mean, it's only honorable to do that. I mean, so I just have to do that before I proceed. But this one, I think you have a great interest in it. I just received a message from somebody who wants to be anonymous. He's a headmaster. He said, please ask him why Oke's head, Mickey Mensah, was removed and why Suesco headmistress, Golda, was also transferred recently. So if we are speaking about culture of silence among headmasters, head teachers, I just want to...
Is he giving us more information about what happened to the Oke's head and
Yeah, they also spoke up. They also spoke up on this. They spoke up. I know the story. They spoke up about this food shortages.
They just sent it to you.
And what happened?
The headmaster sent to me, but I don't want to show you the school.
Oh, I don't need to.
And they removed them. I just want to say that, you see, don't let us politicize disciplinary measures. If we want to do the politics of it and the equalization, then they are also guilty. But now let me move to the Galamsey issue and the Galamsey subject matter. As for arrest of NIMOS arresting Chinese and illegal miners, I think these are normal things that every government used to do. Akufo-Addo arrested a lot of Chinese nationals. I'm sure even Mahama in his first attempt, when he first became president, also arrested a lot of people. I don't think that is the assurance that we had. The assurance that we had from President Mahama was that when he comes to power, he is going to arrest the raw campaigns. The campaigns who are doing the Galamsey. Recall Mahama said, how many of these young guys can be able to purchase these excavators, purchase cyanide, purchase this? And then when he came, his main aim, the main strategy of going of fighting the Galamsey would be to arrest the campaigns. So we are not so much interested in the Chinese. Who brought those Chinese here? In terms of their immigration issues, who addressed it for them? Who showed them? Any Chinese? Which Chinese know any forest in Ghana? Who took them there?
Okay.
Obviously, it cannot be an ordinary person like myself.
Please land.
Probably people like Same and Co will be able to. No, they are big men. He works in the state of government. So we want a delivery of what he said. He said the campaigns address Galamsey. That is what we want, not these Chinese. Those ones are normal things.
But one campaign is in court.
All right.
Which campaign?
Doc.
Well,
and Galamsey has also stopped.
Now,
yes.
I think I've accepted the apology of my brother.
Okay.
I don't think that I would ever sit on any national television and call out somebody's father. Indeed, maybe if he doesn't know who my father is, he should go and Google. And
I know your father.
That's why I said that the MPP can never pay back. Anyway, now, indeed, Galamsey, as it is currently, is threatening a lot of livelihoods in this country. The issue as to whether we have to blame the Chinese or we have to blame ourselves shouldn't be debated. It's clear. It's apodictic that we ourselves as Ghanaians have to blame ourselves for this. Nobody in China would just get up and take a visa and then come to the Etiwa forest to mine because they know of Etiwa. Who takes them there? And that is why I think that we need to be stringent on this matter. In China, you cannot go and mine in any forest or water body as a foreigner and go scot-free. Even those that even breach immigrational laws in China are dealt with mercilessly. How much more even environmental terrorism? And so we need to be honest with ourselves here. The Ghana Immigration Service and our embassy in China has to do a lot. They are more like the first tier in helping us fight this Chinese illegal miners. A lot of times, we have people that provide certain mechanisms and channels for Chinese citizens to get visa on arrival into Ghana. And most of these illegal miners use this channel. And I know that the Ghana Immigration Service listening to me this morning knows what I'm talking about. Now, I do not want to sit down here and release certain things, but at the right time, I'll release it. I have been able to track and block a lot of Chinese nationals who were partnering with some of our people locally and some who are politically exposed to come and mine in certain forest reserves in this country.
You have personally been able to track them?
Oh, now I will just show you proof of what I'm talking about. If you look at here, have you seen a lease agreement? Have you seen a mineral agreement? Have you seen a mineral agreement?
I see an agreement.
That's right. I know what I'm talking about.
And this is a Galamsey.
It's a Galamsey who is attracting a Chinese financier. And definitely, we will...
Is it a small-scale miner or an illegal miner?
It's illegal.
And they have a contract?
That's what I'm saying, that they do not have a contract to, execute the mining, right? Okay. They have a prospecting, license. But they do not have a mining license. And that is what a lot of people do. They use a prospecting license to conduct mining, which is illegal in the first place. Now, mining is capitally intensive. And I think that the NDC program, which is creating cooperatives along these rural areas that are conducting mining, is a good policy, but it needs to go down further to support our youth in this space. Okay. There's nothing wrong with mining, but sustainable and responsible mining is what we are advocating for. Okay. And definitely that the resources of this land should be for the benefit of us as citizens. Right. Under the previous administration, we learned that $40 million worth of gold was being escorted out of our airport each and every month. Alicia's Mateus, the Al Jazeera documentary. Do you recollect that, Sami?
Yeah.
And he mentioned, and he mentioned someone.
The Kufuor threatened that he will sue him.
Yes, he mentioned some. So when it comes to Galamsey, the MPP is fighting for his faith now in court with his chief Galamsey, who I don't know, but Kwesi would...
You see how the descriptions he used?
Chief Galamsey.
Nobody calls him to order. He's a chief Galamsey.
He's a chief Galamsey.
Who are you referring to?
Who to me is a chief Galamsey.
I see.
From your own report.
I see.
Who to me is
still ongoing.
Doc, that's your time. That's your time. And if a matter is still pending in court, It is pending.
I am referring to the Frimpong
it has not been determined. It has not been determined. It has not been decided.
Which is the ministry is an authority.
But the ministry
it's an authority.
Illegal mining.
The ministry said Wontumi was involved in illegal mining.
All right.
He's a chief galamsey.
Your microphones are off. Your microphones are off. Your microphones are off. We can't hear you. So let's end it now. This segment is proudly brought to you by the University of Gold Coast. Big Issues is brought to you by the University of Gold Coast. If you are aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through our dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, the University of Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. And if your next step is an MSc in international relations or communications, international marketing, or in international law, security diplomacy, accounting, finance, or human resource management, or perhaps you want an LLM in international law, security diplomacy, or MA in biblical studies, practical theology, the pathway is now open. April admission is ongoing. Because at the University of Gold Coast, we make it practical, we make it flexible. We encourage flexible entry, flexible payments, flexible learning. Study around your work and your life and choose a route that fits your background. And you also get to pay in convenient installments. Your dream deserves structure and your future deserves strategy. Your purpose deserves training. So apply now. Go to www.ugc.edu.gh or give us a call or WhatsApp us on 026 388 855. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for nations. That's it for Big Issues. We're going to be back with sports in a minute. Stay with us.
let's get into some sports now with the Bill Asian. Good morning, gentlemen. Today is not what is it called? Cap stitch.
Oh no, today is not cap stitch.
Yeah, today is not cap stitch. No. Okay, all right. This one is from your own wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
You look smart, by the way.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Cookie, tu parles français?
Je ne parle pas français.
Hey!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
What were you thinking?
What
were you thinking? That I was going to disgrace myself on national TV.
Top,
no, it will never happen.
Respect.
It will never happen in Jesus' name. Low key, you don't know me. Don't underestimate me.
You swore there. What? You swore there.
You're not experting it, eh? You didn't expert it. Anyway, so Thursday is going to be a very exciting day for all of us. Yeah, huge day in sports here in Ghana, because for the very first time, we are all going to encounter, listen to, and sight, of course, our newest coach, Carlos Queiroz.
Yes.
So he's going to be addressing the press on Thursday at Alisa Hotel.
Yes.
Bring us the full detail.
Yes. At 1 p.m., we expect the new head coach of the Black Stars to address the media at the Alisa Hotel. Of course, that is going to be his official unveiling. He's going to answer so many questions as he starts to prepare the Black Stars for the 2026 World Cup. We already know the kind of experience that he has as a head coach in the past, having managed the likes of Egypt, South Africa,
Oman,
Qatar, Portugal, and some other
Manchester
clubs.
United,
yes, Real Madrid. As well. Yeah, so very experienced manager, and we expect to see him officially
live in living color.
Yes,
live in living color on Thursday,
and we will be there.
Definitely. Keep an eye on it for us. So that day, I think we'll block the whole TV3 Newday for you guys.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of info you need to bring us on that day.
Of course.
All right. So that's on Thursday.
That's on Thursday.
This week, Thursday.
Yes, this week.
All right. We'll wait for it. Kotoko, what is happening? First off, it was Karim Zito.
Yes.
And now the interim manager is also gone.
Yes.
Team, they should just close it down. What's happening? What's going on?
The team will still exist. Prince Yawusu has left Asante Kotoko. Yes, following a poor run of form, to be fair, since after the sacking of Karim Zito. I mean, he took over as the interim coach. The results have not been as encouraging. I think one key highlight was Kotoko losing by 4 goals to Midiama in Takwa. There's been a lot of pressure on him, especially from fans who feel he's not the right man for the job. And so now they parted ways. Assistant Hamza Obeng, who was also an assistant under Karim Zito, and the youth coach of Asante Kotoko, has now taken over on an interim basis, whilst Kotoko looked for a permanent solution. Kotoko had already released a statement a few days back stating that they are still in search and they would update the public on who the next head coach, permanent head coach of Kotoko will be.
Well, we wish him all the best. Yes. We don't know where he's going, right? We have no idea where he's going.
We don't know.
But we wish him all the best. And the new one that has come, and it's an interim, maybe.
Yes, interim. Yes, Hamza will be interim.
Okay. We'll see how that pans out. But let's continue to talk about dual citizenship and football and all of that. And Samuel Osekufo has been speaking about it. What exactly did he say?
Yes, in an exclusive with eSports, Samuel Osekufo highlighted that dual citizens would likely favor the European countries more than Ghana, and Ghana will be the second choice when any option comes up. And this is what he said.
Okay.
As a Ghanaian parent, you base in Europe, and your son is playing so well, and that your son is Jude Bellingham, both parents from Ghana. Will you allow Jude Bellingham to play for Ghana or England?
I will consider the bigger economic benefit.
Yes. Because either we like it or we don't like it, we are second choice.
Yes, that's the truth.
That's what people have to understand. Yeah. Either we like it or we don't like it, we are second choice.
And it goes beyond football, it goes beyond patriotism.
Okay. So now, if Duku Frimpong, not Jiku, Doku, Frimpong, and all those players, if we have got them young, all of them will play for Ghana. Yeah. So that's why I'm using the office in Europe. Let get them young. Yeah. Let them come here and face the atmosphere. Let them find the good feeling around the team, either it's under 17, under 20, or under 23, including the Blasters. Let get them young. Yeah. If we get them young, we have opportunity to build our national team.
All right, we'll have the opportunity to build our national team. Samuel Osekufo on dual citizenship.
Yes.
All right. Anything you want to add before we go?
I mean, the World Cup is gradually.
How many days do we have to go? 50-something, no?
Yeah, I think 51
or like 40-something, 51?
I think 51
Charlie.
now. Yeah, just 51 days left to the start of the World Cup. Of course, 3 Sports would always be giving you a lot more updates with regards to World Cup, exclusive interviews and all of that coming up. And we do have Sports Daily at 10 a.m. Later today with more updates from the world of sports. And remember, Carlos Queiroz on Thursday will be there.
Okay.
Yes, 1
Bring
PM.
us the updates.
Yes.
All right, let's take World Cup in 1 minute.
$1,248 players, 1 World Cup. But how do teams get there? It all starts with the preliminary squads. By May 11, each of the 48 teams must submit a list of up to 55 players. From there, coaches make the tough calls, trimming their squads down to 26 players by May 30. But there's a twist. Teams can take up to 35 players in training, with extra players staying on standby before the tournament officially begins. Most clubs must release players by May 25, though some stars will stay longer for major finals in Europe and North America. Just 12 days after final squads are confirmed, the World Cup kicks off across North America. And it all ends on July 19 at MetLife Stadium, where 1 squad will become world champions.
We'll take a break. We'll return with more. It's still TV3 Newday. to other conversations that entails you saving your money, conversations that have to do with Absa Bank coming a step or several steps closer to you, right? Not a step, several steps closer to you. And if you're just like me and you hate queues in the bank, and now Bakubina, my friend, is shifting cultivation. You know, these days they just almost and you are getting up and you are sitting down. Absa says no more. They are not doing that type of business anymore. And that's why this morning, Samuel Ofe, who is head agency banking, Absa Bank, is here, as well as Benjamin Kwashi, manager, agency banking operations, Absa Bank. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
We've had very interesting conversations before we came live, and congratulations on all that you've achieved so far.
Thank you.
I am a depa. I'm happy that now you are bringing Absa closer to me. Let's talk about agency banking, and let's talk about this new revolution that is taking place with Absa. What informed this decision? Samuel, should I come to you? Yes. Okay.
Thank you. So, like you rightly said, Absa, we say your story matters, right?
Okay.
And so, I mean, all the stories of our various customers really matter to us. And so, having been in this business in Ghana for over 100 years, we realized that we need to, come down to this very level, like several steps closer to our customers. So, agency banking is basically one of the channels that Absa Bank has introduced just to get a bit more closer to us by using local businesses, within our communities to provide convenience for our clients.
Fantastic. Emmanuel, when we say an Absa agent, who is the person? What do they even look like? Are they wearing specific colored uniforms that would easily be identified and all of that?
Thank you very much. So an Absa agent is an authorized business within a community that has been vetted through an approved process and have been certified to provide banking services in the local communities where they basically operate. To locate an Absa agent, basically look out for Absa branded stickers, you look out for some customer notice, and then also you look out for transactions where customers get real-time receipts for the transactions that are being done. So it is what they are empowered to do that makes them an Absa agent.
All right. So let's get into the communities then. If I'm looking for an Absa agency or an Absa agent, what would I see? Is it a little kiosk just like the Ministry of Health is doing right now? They are bringing containers to our communities and the markets. What does yours look like?
Okay, so like I indicated from my earlier conversation, we are partnering with local businesses, right, to provide agency banking. And so, yes, it can present as a shop.
Small container.
Yeah, not small container, but, it has to be secure, right? And so it can be within a shop in a building, it can be a container, but what you need to look out for is the Absa signage. Because we are partnering with local businesses, it can be, so long as they are authorized to operate, they have registered their business, and like you said, they go through vetting. So long as you can pass that and you are a business within the community, then we can partner with you. But you look out for the Absa signage, which can be the stickers, like he said, or something that's in the front with our red. You can't miss our red. Yes.
So you definitely see that this is an Absa agent. Yes. What can I do there? Every banking service that you provide can be done with an agent?
Yes, most of our banking services. Basically, we can do deposits, you can do withdrawals, you can also pay your bills.
Oh, so loan.
You can. We have a relationship with the agents, and so once you come in for value-added services, we would direct you to the nearest branch and through officials who can help you to achieve that. But basically, school fees, payments, ECG payments, water bill, and all of these services can be done at an agent's point.
Absa agent.
The good thing about this is transactions are real-time and they are secure. So once you perform your transactions, you are getting instant notifications on your app and whatever you need to confirm that your transactions have been completed.
All right. So I can do all these things over there. Now that you've brought it closer to me, is it costing me anything? Do I pay when I go to an agent for any of your services?
No. Most of the plethora of our services are for free. For example, our deposits, our bill payments, our school fees are all for free. There are only little fees for withdrawal transactions at the agent points.
Now, Samuel and Emmanuel, let's talk about fraud. you know they are watching us this morning and they are taking notes. Benjamin, I beg your pardon, Benjamin, they are taking notes and they want to sway us. How do we look out for fraudsters and scammers when it comes to ABSA agents?
Thanks. So for a person to become an ABSA agent, they are vetted rigorously.
Okay.
They go through vetting, and so we don't just get up and say, sign up a shop. There are certain procedures they go through for us to ensure that they are really meeting the standard or the criteria to become an ABSA agent. And then also we identify them, like we've said, and so you can see the ABSA agents. We actually train them, we certify them, and then they go through several checks, criminal checks and all of those things, so that we know that the person we are signing on is clear of all these things. But once they come in for the agents, we train them, and for customers, we also engage them, never give out your pins, never give out any confidential information to anybody. If you go to do your transaction, you key whatever they need. That's the amount you want to transact, maybe the account number that they will punch in, but that's basically it.
Okay.
And you should look out for, like Benjamin said, that transactions being in real time. So you should ensure you are getting your notifications, your alerts to confirm the transaction. You can even move a step further and get on any of our digital channels, your mobile app, your USSD or your internet banking, and then confirm whether the transaction has really hit your account, because it's supposed to be real time, and so you ensure that everything is done real time. But beyond this, never give your PIN, never give out any confidential information, just as we always inform our clients.
Yes, Benjamin, you want to add up?
To add up to what my colleague Samuel has indicated, basically at the agent point, we have put together a customer notice which outlines the services we offer and also gives an indicative of how a customer records system can be handled. So if anything should even go wrong, you have the opportunity to reach us in the office to call and to communicate your worries.
Okay. Now, for those who are watching and they think that they can accommodate an agency or an agent in their premises, some people have stores in the communities, in their homes and all of that. How do we engage you so that I can become an agent where I live or where I work, perhaps?
Yes, so to be an ABSA agent, basically you should have a registered business, and then you should have a secure structure, as Riley indicated. Most of the other things will be done in-house, where you call us. You can call our hotline on 053-103-6610. You can also email us.
The number is very important, please. I beg you. They will call you. So please, read it again. Take your time and give us the number again.
Our number is 053-103-6613.
Again, please.
053-103-6610.
So that's the number you can call to become an ABSA agent, so long as you have a suitable place to run the business. How small should it be, or how big can it be? Can you describe and tell us?
Basically, your structure should be secure. It should not be easily movable. Yes, we take secure shops. We also take secure containers that are under a brick and mortar. The expectation is that if you come to make a deposit tomorrow and you come back again, you should be able to find the agent. So we would not appreciate movable structures, but rather firm and secured structures.
But just to add, what we would like to say is that, if you are interested in the business, just call our number. We have our able officers and team across the country who would, engage you once you call and then actually pay you a visit. And so they come there and then they assess the shop and all of that. And so once they come in and the shop is something that's viable for the business, then they'll let you know. If not, we can also let you know, and maybe you can find something else, or we move on from there.
All right, fantastic. Now, I
want to add that we give commissions for our transactions that the agents do, and so there's a lot of potential to earn a lot of money from our transactions.
So depending on how many transactions I do in a day, I get a commission for that. Okay, so it's actually very beneficial, if I become an ABSA agent. All right, fantastic. Now, let's talk about ABSA in general. This initiative is wonderful. It's a nice revolution that's taking place. But are there other products, other services that ABSA is introducing for the coming year or the rest of this year? What's next?
Thank you. Of course, ABSA is, one of the household names when it comes to banking, and every now and then we are rolling out various services and products for the benefit of our customers. And so importantly, agency banking is the new kid on the block, and so you should look out for ABSA agents wherever you go. and then, like I said, all across the country. And so, I mean, just locate an ABSA agent, weekends, holidays, even after hours, so long as the agent is open, you can go in there and perform your transactions.
What did you just say? Weekends they'll be working?
Yes, they work.
Holidays?
They work.
Oh, so if the bank is closed, you can go to the agents to conduct
Perform your
business.
transactions.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
That's very, very smart and very ingenious. All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming. Any other words you want to add before we go? Benjamin, anything you want to say?
Yes, I would want to encourage all businesses who are interested in this agency banking initiative to call us, and then let's have a talk so we can set you up and then make you an ABSA agent for the benefit of the community where you operate.
All right, Samuel, you?
Yes, and also to our customers, we'd like to encourage them to use our agents. Like we've said, agency banking has come to stay. We use secure systems, real time, and so they should feel comfortable going to our agents wherever they see the signage to perform their transactions. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Samuel Ofei, Head, Agency Banking, ABSA Bank, and Benjamin Kwashi, Manager, Agency Banking Operations, ABSA Bank. Sorry, I mixed up your name early on. Sorry, Manuel. It's Benjamin. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
But I haven't forgotten the bullion van that was supposed to bring my money. You want to check on that? So I should go on a break whilst you check on that? Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. It's still TV3 Newday.
On something that is of great interest to me, our heritage, our history, memories, Ghana's ports, Ghana's forts, I beg your pardon, our castles, our monuments, and all the things that hold our cultural history. We're joined in studios this morning to help us have this conversation, Mr. Bernard Edrisaki, Head of Estate, and Mr. Benjamin Afagbeji, Head of Monuments. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Good, many thanks.
Now, I know that there was, on the 18th of April, there was a big conversation about our monuments, our forts, our castles, and so on. What was this about?